Hi, everybody. Bob Costas along with Marv Albert. First item of business, Kirk Gibson will not play for the Dodgers. Bothered by the right knee and the left hamstring, the knee more so. But in any case, he won't even be introduced tonight. We assume that means he's not available for so much as pinch hitting duty. Mickey Hatcher moves from first base to left field. Franklin Stubbs will start at first. Kirk Gibson out for the Dodgers. The starting pitchers, Dave Stewart, 21-12 for Oakland. Tim Belcher, 12-6 for L.A. Belcher with a slightly lower ERA, but remember, Stewart pitches in a DH league with generally smaller ballparks. So those two pitchers are in the spotlight tonight. But as we turn to Marv Albert, a different hurler was in the headlines this morning. And Marv, it's Jay Howell, a nice guy who seems to be snake-bit by controversy in the postseason.
Well, Bob, in this magnificent Oakland Athletics season, manager Tony La Russa succeeded in guiding his players away from controversy. Now, the American League Championship Series, it was a quiet 4-game sweep over the Red Sox, in contrast to the noise generated by both the Mets and the Dodgers. And then in a stunner, 17-year veteran Don Baylor, usually not one to lash out, certainly caught the attention of the Dodgers with two very strong statements. First, he said he preferred to play the Mets for the World Championship because they were the best team based on their 100 wins during the regular season. And then he took aim at Dodger reliever Jay Howell. Baylor said Howell couldn't handle pressure when he was in New York with the Yankees. I know, I played with him. He also indicated Howell deep down was pleased about being suspended in games 4 and 5 in New York because he didn't want to be pitching at Shea with all those people screaming at him. I talked about all this with Oakland A's manager Tony La Russa.
The biggest point is that, Don has a right to make his individual comments. As I told a couple of guys, if Walter Weiss had said that, I'd get him in my office and say, Walter, apologize because you don't know what you're talking about. But Don had, he has earned the right to speak his mind. I think the important point, though, Marv, is that the manager speaks for the club. And the Oakland A's have a lot of respect for Jay Howell. One of our strategies is believing he's a good closer. Keep him in the bullpen, don't let him in the game.
And the one-time Oakland Athletic Jay Howell was visibly upset by the comments made by Don Baylor. I talked about it with Howell.
I read today in one newspaper, and all I've got to say is just because Don says something about me, it doesn't mean I've got to say anything about Don Baylor. Don and I had, we were teammates in New York, and we were friends, and we're still friends. I don't think that it's necessarily accurate, and I'm getting other reports that are saying that I maybe said something a couple of days ago, and he's responding to this. It's nonsense.
Did you say something?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You're shocked by all this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is happening with you during postseason play? The David Cohn newspaper column where he takes a swipe at you, then Bart Giamatti with the suspension, and now this. Everything.
Well, I felt the same way with David Cohn. I didn't say anything. I didn't have anything to say about David. And really, all I want to do is just go out and play baseball. And, my wife tells me, she just says, you're a tabloid king, and, that you ought to just get out there and play. So I'm just looking forward to playing in the game, and all this other side stuff. I wish it would just be the end of it. I want it to be the end of it.
There's not any regrets. I just regret that it hit Jay Howell in the wrong way, that it was not intended to hurt any player. I think anybody ever played with me know that I'm a player's player.
What about the statement, though, that you don't feel that good about the Dodger organization? You had alluded to the fact that there's a certain Dodger feeling that seems to bother you.
Well, when you play 6 years down in Anaheim, it's beat over your head day in and day out that you're the second team in town. And I kind of resented that we're all major league players, supposedly, but they always look down on the American League. And when you play down south for 6 years, you get enough of it.
So a mini feud has emerged. The catalyst, an unlikely source, the usually reserved Don Baylor of the Oakland Athletics. Now, reserve would not be the calling card of Dodger manager Tom Lasorda. When we return, Bob visits with Tom in a catered affair.
Tom Lasorda has never missed a meal. He's postponed a few, but he never missed any.
Welcome back to Dodger Stadium. Sometimes his colorful persona kind of overshadows his baseball expertise, but the fact remains that Tommy Lasorda has now won 6 division titles and 4 pennants. Of course, most guys celebrate with champagne. Lasorda does it with pasta. When I dropped in on him yesterday, Tommy just happened to be enjoying a light lunch.
How does this compare with other championships you've been involved in?
Well, it's like asking me about other plates of linguine I have eaten.
It's tough to judge.
That's right. When your team wins, you gotta love it.
Before they said Lasorda the motivator, Lasorda the showman, but now they may actually say Lasorda the genius. When it comes to a post-game spread, you've always been a genius, no question.
I can't control what people say about me. Gibson paid me the finest compliment that any player could ever give me when he said in an interview, and I read it, he said, "I feel like I've been a Dodger a long time." How about that?
Now tell me this. Tell me the truth now. Game 1 against the Mets. Hershiser pitches brilliantly. Looks like you got the upper hand. Game slips away. What was the scene like in this room?
Sad. Really down. Looked like someone had picked my pocket with all the money I ever owned.
Did you throw anything? Break anything at that game?
Yes, I did. I'll be honest with you.
But not a plate of valuable food, right?
Never do that.
I mean, that's a waste to throw something like that.
Never, ever throw food.
Mark used to do that. And other managers, they overturn the clubhouse spread after the game, and that's a sacrilege, Tom.
I'll throw chairs. I'll throw cabinets. I'll throw lockers. But I will never, ever throw a particle of food away.
If it got to a 7th game, would you consider coming back with Hershiser on 2 days rest?
Yes. If Bulldog wants the ball, Bulldog will get the ball.
You concerned about Tudor not working for a week and a half, 2 weeks before he gets the ball again in Game 3?
I don't think so. Tudor's the kind of guy that could go out there and still have good control with that amount of time. But if I don't pitch Tim Belcher tomorrow, which means he won't pitch until next Tuesday, I think the time will affect him a lot more than it will affect Tudor.
All right, now Manja.
Good. You know what happens to me a lot of time? When I eat, I don't get full. I stop because my arms get tired. And what my problem is, I'm bending at the elbow. I got to start bending. Look, at the wrist.
Well, Marv, Tommy told me that the only time a loss was devastating enough to cause him to lose his appetite actually was that Game 1 where it slipped away in the 9th against the Mets.
But I was told that Tom did come back very, very strong in the eating department the very next day. He did bounce back.
Yeah, he was able to rebound and more than balance the scales with a huge breakfast the next morning. And when we come back, we'll get the introduction of the starting lineups for both the Dodgers and the A's. Stay with us as the World Series pregame show continues.
Infielder, Dave Anderson. Outfielder, Danny Heath. Catcher, Rick Dempsey. Infielder, Tracy Woodson. Pitcher, Alejandro Pena. Infielder, Mike Sarperson. Pitcher, Ricky Horton. Pitcher, John Tudor. Pitcher, Fernando Valenzuela. Outfielder.
As we come back live to Dodger Stadium, the roar is for Orel Hershiser, who is being introduced along with the other Dodger non-starters. He is tomorrow night's starting pitcher and told Marv Albert earlier that he would be ready to go on 2 days rest if he had to, if it came to that in Game 7, just as his manager Tommy Lasorda said he would. There's Hershiser. Now let's go to Phil Petty, the PA man at Dodger Stadium.
And now, the starting lineup for the American League champion, Oakland Athletics. The manager, Tony La Russa. Leading off, number 4, third baseman, Carney Lansford. Batting second, number 42, center fielder Dave Henderson. Batting third, number 33, right fielder Jose Canseco. Batting fourth, number 39, left fielder Dave Parker. Batting fifth, number 25, first baseman Mark McGuire. Batting sixth, number 36, the catcher Harry Steinbach. Batting seventh, number 17, second baseman Glenn Hubbard. Batting eighth, number 7, shortstop Walt White. Warming up in the bullpen and batting ninth, number 34, the pitcher Dave Stewart. And now the starting lineup for your National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers. The manager, Tommy Lasorda. Leading off, number 3, second baseman, Steve Sachs. Number 22, first baseman, Franklin Stubbs. Batting third, number 9, left fielder, Mickey Hatcher. Number 5, right fielder, Mike Marshall. Batting fifth, number 31, center fielder, John Shelby. Batting sixth, number 14, the catcher, Mike Sosha. Batting seventh, number 30, third baseman, Jeff Hamilton. Batting eighth, number 7, shortstop, Alfredo Griffin.
You want to beat these fuckers. Go down their line.
Warming up in the Dodger bullpen and batting ninth, number 49, pitcher Tim Belcher. We invite your attention to the home plate area. Tonight's colors are being presented by representatives of the United States Army. And now, to honor America, will you please rise for our national anthem to be performed tonight by one of pop music's rising young superstars, Debbie Gibson.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad about stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So the Dodgers brought in Debbie Gibson. Now if only they had Kirk Gibson. The first pitch is moments away. Vin and Joe with the play-by-play right after we check with NBC News.
The 1988 World Series is brought to you by Miller High Life. Brewed to be smooth, never bitter. Takes time to make, time to enjoy. By the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. And by Goodyear Certified Auto Service. Nobody fits you like Goodyear.
Hi, once again, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. All the fuss and feather, the pomp and circumstance prior to Game 1 is out of the way, and now they give the ball to the starting pitcher. In this case, each starting pitcher trying to get his former teammates out.
And everybody's looking for an edge. Since he knows them, do they know him? And is there a little bit mystery there? I'll tell you what, I don't think so. I haven't been traded. You just don't get an edge. But the best way to find out is to ask the pitchers. I did. Here's Dave Stewart first.
I think they knew me. They don't know me now. They haven't seen me in 5, almost 6 years. I've developed a forkball now. I've gotten better control and better command of my pitches.
It's not my intention to carry out any kind of a vendetta against Oakland for quote-unquote giving up on me, so to speak. They had no reason but to give up on me. I mean, I was very inconsistent for 4 years in the minor leagues with them, and they had to make a deal for a left-hander coming down the stretch in '87. They did it. They had to give somebody up, and fortunately, it was me. And a change of scenery and the opportunity to pitch in the big leagues has made all the difference for me. And I've made the most of that opportunity, and I just hope I can continue to do that. I think it'll be fun, though, to play against some old friends and see everybody and compete against them on the same field in an atmosphere like the Fall Classic.
The evolution and the maturity of a starting pitcher in Game 1 of the 1988 World Series.
Well, Dave Stewart had to practically beg for a start in the big leagues, and here he is in the World Series. And Belcher, you know that story.
Belcher came alive as a true pitcher about the middle of the summer, and now it's the fall. We'll get to the ball game right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Nancy Reagan, and the Commissioner of Baseball, Mr. Peter Uberov.
Mrs. Reagan, we're so pleased that you've come to throw out the first pitch. It's your fight against drugs. It's helping kids throughout America, and we'd like you to take this time to give your message to the kids in America.
Thank you, Peter. I'm delighted to be here to help Major League Baseball salute the Just Say No program. I know it seems like such a simple message, just say no, but it's an important one. All over the country, young people are learning to say no to drugs. The members of the Just Say No clubs who are here today, and the many other young people like them in clubs all across America, are really the hope and the promise of the future. They've made a commitment to live drug-free lives, so they'll never have to go through the pains of withdrawal or the devastation which drugs cause. These youngsters are fortunate because they can grow and learn and become anything they want to be. So to all of you watching, I ask you to please help us get the message out to our children. If they're offered drugs, tell them to just say no. I'd like to thank Peter Ueberroth and the Major League Baseball for their efforts in the fight against drug abuse and for taking time to recognize the Just Say No program. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to reach such a large audience.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite your attention to the Dodger on-deck circle, where the Dodgers, the Oakland A's, and Major League Baseball are pleased to welcome the leader of our nation's fight against drug and alcohol abuse. Through her efforts, the phrase, "Just Say No," has become the battle cry of a generation. We are honored to have the First Lady of the United States throw out tonight's honorary first ball. Mrs. Reagan, it's your pitch.
Beautiful way to start the ball game tonight. A word to the wise to the youngsters across the country. And didn't you love the touch that Mrs. Reagan was wearing a glove?
She was wearing a glove like she was going to protect herself from a line drive. A simple message, but a powerful one. And those youngsters, there's the future. Say no, just say no.
And now we're about ready, and the Dodgers take the field to start Game 1 of the 1988 World Series. It is ironic that the Dodgers, in waiting before the first ball to be thrown out, showed some highlights of the season and of the League Championship Series, and the bulk of the highlights, the dramatic contributions of Kirk Gibson, who will not be in the starting lineup and was not introduced. He was back in the trainer's room getting some aid. And if you're the manager, Tommy Lasorda, how do you feel about losing your biggest gun?
And in my opinion, not to take anything away from Darryl Strawberry or Van Slyke or McReynolds, because if you're going to look at numbers, those guys have some good numbers. But you got to look at what a man does for his ball club. What would that club have done without him? In my opinion, I think Kirk Gibson should be the most valuable player in the National League.
About 5 hours ago, Tommy Lasorda sat in his office, and he, in all sincerity, said, "Boy, these trainers are really kidding around. Are they loose?" And we said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Oh, they're telling me that Gibson won't play." He felt in his heart that Gibson would play, only to get the crushing news a little while later.
And it's injury upon injury. We know about the hamstring. It's a knee. A knee hurts in the slide into second base in the league championship game number 5. And there's no doubt about it. You don't look at the averages. What he does, he turns up that intensity level a couple notches on his ball club.
And as far as whether he will appear, Kirk Gibson now is listed day to day. On the mound, a rookie to start Game 1 of the World Series. And in case you're interested, the 9th rookie to ever start the opening game of a World Series, Tim Belcher, a 12-game winner during the regular year. Big kid from Sparta, Ohio. And he will be facing Carney Lansford, then Dave Henderson and Jose Canseco. And the first thing about Carney Lansford any pitcher should know, he is extremely aggressive. And you have to be very careful on that first pitch. If you think you're just looking for the strike zone with Lansford, you're liable to be in trouble.
Belcher's got a curveball tonight. He's going to find out in a hurry because you're looking at a first ball fastball hitter.
And he looks at a fastball for a strike. He doesn't look very often. He only walked 35 times during the year. Working in under the hands, 1-1. Carney Lansford, then Henderson and Canseco for a red-hot ball club. The A's have won 5 straight, 8 of their last 9 with Henderson on deck. All fastballs, 2-1. Belcher, like almost everyone, possesses a split finger. 2-1 to Carney Lansford. And that's hit down the right field line, slicing foul and dropped untouched.
It's interesting that the Oakland A's do something that's really a throwback to the old days. They have a hitters meeting. And Jim Lefevre, Bob Watson, and all the hitters talk about what they're going to do. And they say, well, that's what they used to do when they were traveling by train, talking about hitting. And with Belcher, the thing they talked about was make him get the ball down. He pitches high, make him get that ball down in the strike zone.
Well, he's 2-2 to Carney Lansford. And he's high. There are so many connections between Oakland and Los Angeles. 2 of them are out in the coaching lines for Oakland. We'll get to them in a moment. 3-2 the count to Carney Lansford. Fisted foul out of play. The coaches for the Oakland A's. At third, Jimmy Lefevre. He was a 1965 Rookie of the Year for the Dodgers. Played in the '66 World Series. And over at first, Rene Latchman, who was a bat boy for the Dodgers and a ball boy back in 1960, even to '62 when Dodger Stadium opened. 3-2. Got him looking.
Belcher has thrown a fastball in the mid-90s. 95, that last one. He's kind of pumped up, I would say. It's on the outside part of the plate. You try to keep that ball away, and he does a good job of it.
Center fielder, Dave Henderson.
So Tommy Lasorda got a jolt earlier with Gibson's sideline. Starts off in the right direction as Lansford strikes out. And here is Dave Henderson.
Another first ball hitter.
Fouled away, 0-1.
I think you can look at that Oakland bat rack, Vin, and see those bats moving. These guys don't like the base on balls.
No. One of the things about the A's, they are physically intimidating. When they come out on the field, you think maybe the Chicago Bears have arrived. 0-1.
You just saw a shot of La Russa. He is still wearing, as we look at Canseco, La Russa is still wearing the same hat that he started this season with. He wants to put 108 victories on a hat and put it on his mantelpiece.
Big chopper up the middle, and that'll be the base hit into center. So Dave Henderson collects the first hit of the day. And now the big man. All eyes on Jose Canseco.
Canseco is a better low ball hitter.
Number 33.
And you talk about strength. He hit one completely out of this ballpark yesterday in batting practice over the left field fence. They projected 560 feet on that ball.
He is very much of a low ball hitter, and you see his home runs. He hit 16 of them with 2 strikes. The plan, of course, ideally would be to jam him, but you can't do anything consistently against a good hitter. And he came in on the hand. That's where they'd like to go, but they can't live in there throughout, or he'll hurt you.
He'll adjust to that, and you look at him and his swing, the bat speed is just unbelievable. He's got explosive strength is what he calls it, and Dave Parker really has an expression for it.
0-1. In on the hands again. That's where they're going to live, and it might have gotten that hand. Let's see, he's going to be awarded first base.
They were going to pitch him tight, and here comes Lasorda now. He wants to argue it. This is the toughest call for an umpire. Hit the bat first or the hand. It's always one of those things you call right now, and that's it.
What Tommy said is the ball hit the bat. That's why the ball went all the way back to the screen. See how he's gesturing to the screen.
But I'm sure I've heard this argument a million times. Harvey's saying it did hit the bat, but it hit his hand first, and how are you going to prove that? Look at those arms.
Left fielder, Dave Parker.
Now from another angle.
Looking again, from there, I think it got him. I would say hit by pitch.
Right, and it appeared on the arm more than the hand. So first and second. And the batter now is Dave Parker, who, of course, came here when he was a standout player for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
There's another guy you got to pitch inside. You can't let him get that big arms out.
Fouled away, 0-1. Take another look at the first dispute of the series.
Hit him on the arm. I tell you, those arms are so big, it sounded like the bat. He could probably hit 280 with those arms.
No balls and 1 strike. Parker followed by McGuire and Tim Belcher in a jam here. Runners at first and second, 1 out. One thing, when Parker was in the National League, you never threw any off-speed pitches to him. Ideally, you should try to jam him constantly. And as he's gotten a little older, he's 37 years old, I think they feel he doesn't turn on the fastball quite as quickly as he did in the past.
He'll chase the curveball down too, Vin, but if you're going to throw that fastball, you better get it in.
1 ball and 1 strike. And that's going to be hit down the line foul and out of play, and the count 1-2.
That was the perfect pitch right there on Parker. Pound him up and in. He can be jammed with even an average fastball. He likes that low fastball, and don't throw him the slow stuff. And his arm is no longer a threat. Pretty well says it all.
Throughout his career, he has always been more dangerous a hitter with runners on base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Away, 2-2. It is a bright, shiny, early evening or late afternoon, as you wish. The lights are on, but we have sunshine splashed on the hillsides and on the scoreboard, and blue skies overhead.
He hasn't thrown any curveballs yet.
Fastball fouled away. I think part of the reason is the time of day. This is a good time to go with your hard stuff.
It is, but you're going to have to establish that you have a curveball, and any curveball will make your fastball much more effective. But the times on this are just incredible. 93, 90, 93, 93, 94.
He's basically fastball, split finger, and slider. He's been working on a curveball all year, but you haven't seen it yet. 2-2. And that's hit in the air to Shelby, and the runners will hold. That's another thing to keep in mind, particularly here at Dodger Stadium. This is probably the toughest ballpark, certainly in the National League. If you're playing the outfield, if our center field camera took a shot in, it's like looking into a wedding cake. You don't just have an upper deck and a lower deck here. Among other things, you have dugout seats behind home, and you can see the multi-tiered, and then the bright sky, and then the light towers. Fouled away by Mark McGuire, who went to school down here at USC and even played at Dodger Stadium as a member of the U.S. Olympic team in 1984.
McGuire's a dead low ball hitter. He's more upright, and he's had to adjust because he got a lot of those let's get the first fastball over pitch last year for hit it for home runs.
And he hits 1 foul and out of play. And Mark now in a hole, 0-2. Interestingly, he changed a bit. Last year, he hit 21 home runs at home. This year, of the 32 home runs that he hit 12 at home.
He's got 7 3-run homers and 1 grand slam this year.
Boy, it is gum-chewing time in the first inning. Henderson and Canseco aboard. 2 out. Kind of a showcase pitch in the count 1-2. Joined us a little late. Dave Henderson bounced one up the middle with 1 out for a base hit. Canseco hit by a pitch. Parker made the second out. And Belcher working on McGuire. 2-2.
They're trying to climb the ladder with him. McGuire's the kind of a guy who'll chase that high fastball, even the bad breaking ball. Belcher doesn't have that big curveball, but he's also, McGuire is, in that 2-strike approach to hitting where they just want to put the ball in play.
2-2. So now he gives the A's the base running advantage. Henderson and Canseco ready to go on a full count with 2 down.
They have have a two-strike approach to hitting taught by Lefebvre, and Watson just put the ball in play. And these big guys don't need a full swing to hit one out.
24 pitches for Belcher, so he's working hard in the first inning. Runners go, and it's foul back.
Tough pitch to lay off, Ben, that high fastball, and it just climbing. That might have been out of the strike zone, but when you got 2 strike zone, you can't be that picky.
So Mark McGuire, who was born in nearby Pomona, and he'll be followed in the lineup by Terry Steinbach. Henderson and Canseco at the ready on a full count, 2 down, no score. We're just starting. Runners go, and it is ball 4 to load him up.
Tell you, Belcher's not changed speeds. He's throwing just a couple split fingers, and it's just going to be a matter of time if he keeps his pitching pattern up, because you can't keep throwing that hard and expect these hitters not to adjust.
There really has not been much of a change of pattern at all.
One curve, one change in that curve, I say it could have been a split finger. The rest is just fastball. He's rearing back and pumping. He has a great fastball, but it's like driving 80 miles an hour. After a while, it looks like you're going 30. You get used to it.
Well, here's another high fastball hitter, and it would be Terry Steinbach. You'd like to get him out with a breaking ball, but we haven't seen one from Belcher. And there's a little splitter, and he missed with it, ball 1.
And right now, Steinbach's got to be saying, here comes the fastball. I'm going to be ready and maybe start a little bit early with that bat.
Steinbach hitting a home run off Dwight Gooden in the All-Star game. And Belcher is struggling now. 2 balls and no strikes. No one throwing in the Dodger bullpen. But Belcher throwing mostly fastballs, and he's in trouble. 2-0 the count to Terry Steinbach. And it's a high fly ball to left center. It's playable. Shelby is there. And the A's lead 3. And at the end of half an inning, A's nothing. Dodgers coming up. The Oakland A's come up empty in the top of the first inning, stranding 3. And now their 21-game winner, Dave Stewart, who toiled here for the Dodgers. But as he said earlier, I'm a different pitcher. I throw a fork ball now. And he'll pitch to Steve Sachs, Franklin Stubbs, and then Mickey Hatcher, a Dodger lineup without Kirk Gibson.
That fork ball is really a pitch with 2 names. If he throws it hard, it's a split finger fastball, and if he takes a little bit off, use it for a changeup, then it's a fork ball.
And it hit Sachs on the helmet. And immediately a hit batter. We're watching Doug Harvey slowly walk out to the mound.
He's telling them now, that's enough of this, because Canseco got hit with the pitch. I'm not going to go, and it's the first pitch of the ball game.
That's as early as I've ever seen a warning.
That's what he's doing.
Number 22.
Doug Harvey warned him. Canseco got hit, and the first pitch, Sachs gets it.
And Sachs is usually pretty good at getting out of the way of it. He's only been hit once during the year, but he got hammered there.
Got him right on the left arm, it looks like. He knows it's coming at him. That's it's very difficult to get out of the way right there. Here's Canseco, who was hit with a pitch, and this is talk about a feud. Forget Baylor and Howell. This is a start right here.
Franklin Stubbs, who would certainly not be playing, but is, and Sachs will no doubt try to answer Stewart by stealing a base. Sachs during the regular year stole 42. On 1.
I'll tell you, Ben, the Baylor-Howell feud was kind of manufactured, and I hope we get a chance to get into it. But this is pretty serious what we're seeing here. This is a message sent by the A's to the Dodgers after Canseco got hit. And now you see some emotion at first base. Sachs wants to run.
No balls and 1 strike to count. And Stubbs, a shot foul ball. In fact, had it been fair, McGuire might have gotten his glove on it. It was that close.
It might have gone through that glove, too, as hard as that ball was hit. He really got around on that pitch, and Durwood Merrill, watch the effort by McGuire, who's guarding the line. He almost gets that one and almost gets the umpire, so that's how hard that ball was hit. And look at Merrill.
Franklin Stubbs, basically a low ball hitter, and he really had one to jump on. No balls and 2 strikes. Fouled away.
Stewart has changed his pitching motion with the man on to the point that he kind of glides. Now, he's quick to first base, a good move, but he's very slow unloading to the plate, and that's where you pick up your advantage when he unloads that ball.
It's a beautiful story. He's the 7th of 8 children. There are 4 generations in his family in East Oakland, and now here he is representing the city in the World Series. Ball 1 as the off-speed Stubbs, which is not a bad idea. Franklin is a feast or famine hitter, and usually his aggression pays off only on a fastball.
You can see he kind of slides. He doesn't kick that leg up that high as he does when he's pitching from a full windup.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
The good base runner doesn't worry about the pickoff move. He wants to worry about the plate move. As soon as he starts at the plate, that's when the good runner goes, so that's what you bear down on.
1 and 2 to Franklin Stubbs. Big chopper foul ball. You know, during the course of the telecast in the series, you'll be hearing us talk about a splitter, a split finger, and a forkball. And the biggest thing with it is the rotation. A splitter, where you just separate your fingers a little bit, has a very tight rotation like a fastball. The forkball, where you really separate your fingers, kind of tumbles erratically to the plate. And that's what Stewart has, the forkball rather than a splitter.
But he also throws that splitter, man, when he wants to get that ball to break down.
1 and 2. Sachs bluffs, and it's lifted to center. Good pitch by Stewart. He had Stubbs hitting on his front foot because he took a lot off it. That was a 20-game winner's pitch.
Just one little point more about the split finger. It's the arm speed that counts. And Roger Craig, now here's where he loses his power, right there. He stops right there, and now he's got to hit with his arms, right there. The lifting of the foot was the trigger mechanism, but he shifted his weight forward, and the ball wasn't there, so he had to wait and hit with his arms. And that's what you try to do, get the hitter off stride, and that was a perfect picture for it.
Mickey Hatcher, a contact hitter, and the Dodgers could put a play on here. A strike. And time, they called a balk by the third base umpire, Darrell Cousins of the American League.
Now Steinbach's got to go out there and kind of settle him down, because you work so hard to keep the runner at first and pick up an out, and you really give him a gift certificate.
By the way, Stewart had to come in here with quite a reputation. He committed 16 balks during the regular year, plus 14 wild pitches, so everybody conscious of his move.
You could see he did not stop at all, and it was the third base umpire Cousins. Once he got in the glove, he just kept it going.
Now back. So now you really have the battle within the fight, with a runner at second, 1 out in the first inning, no score, and a contact hitter at the plate in Hatcher. Waiting his turn on deck, the Dodger RBI leader, Mike Marshall. 0-1. Fastball hit into left field and deep. Back goes Parker, way back. It is gone. Settle Stewart, but Hatcher hit 1 home run all year.
I think Hatcher is symbolic of this team, playing first base, playing left field. In fact, that home run, he hasn't hit that many. He doesn't even know how to run out a home run. He ran in like they thought they were going to take it off the scoreboard. He really circled those bases in a hurry.
No balls, 1 strike to Marshall. Good pitch, little splitter, and the bottom dropped out of it. 0-2.
He's looking for the fastball, and he really gets into it. And look at him take off. Now, Dave Parker once hit a home run in Pittsburgh, took 26 seconds to go around the bases, and look at Hatcher.
He's the only guy in baseball who should wear his cap with the peak at the side, right angles to his head. If ever there was a guy who should be called Skippy, it's Hatcher.
I tell you, he's look at him. He's a Saturday Evening Post cover is what he is, you know. Look at him.
1-2 to Marshall. Fouled away off to the right, out of play. Tommy Lasorda, as usual, keeping his emotions very quiet so that no one would know that anything good happened for his team.
Can't ever tell what Tommy's feeling.
So, 1-2. Got him, and another good pitch. That's the second really good pitch. The one he made to Stubbs, the one he made to Marshall. He probably figures the one he made to Hatcher was a bad one. Of course, you know, a lot of us are inclined to say, yeah, he hit a home run, he hit a bad pitch, but they happen to be big league hitters.
They are. That was about, well, that was the one to Marshall. It took something off of it. But when you talk about a guy hit a home run like Hatcher, the ball was up a little bit, but they are big league hitters. You make a mistake, they're going to hit it.
1-0 the count of John Shelby. There you go, Mickey. Take that to the bank.
And how close he came to getting another World Series. Minnesota he just missed.
Little roller up along first. Mark McGuire is there. Big guy takes it to the bag. Pretty close as Shelby motored down the line. But the Dodgers get 2 runs on Hatcher's home run at the end of an inning. The Dodgers 2, the A's nothing. The theme song for the first game of the 1988 World Series. Jose Canseco hit on the right arm by a pitch. Bottom of the first, Steve Sachs hit on the high shoulder of the left side by a pitch. Here's Sachs.
This is an answer is what this is. Whether the first pitch to Canseco was a message, it didn't make any difference. He's the big star, and Dodger pitchers answered it.
Glenn Hubbard at the plate. And all you have to do is look at Hubbard and his helmet, and you can see the left side of the face protected to realize how dangerous it is to pitch high and inside, and particularly at this hour of the day. 1-1. That's in there. Tony La Russa, whose ball club dismantled the American League as early as April. Lasorda's club took over at the end of May. Fouled away. 1-2.
When Belcher was taking his warm-up pitches between innings, Rick Dempsey was out there warming him up, and it wasn't just by accident, because he's kind of like his godfather, and he was pointing to his shoulder, his left shoulder, as if to say, you're opening up too soon. And he was really making him bear down while he was warming up between innings.
And that's probably hammered into left field for a base hit. By the way, in talking about Hubbard, you do have to salute his courage. He suffered multiple fractures around the left eye when he was hit in the face by a pitch during spring training. That's why he wears that protective gear. And you can imagine after seeing Canseco and Sachs hit, the thoughts that went through Hubbard's mind, but he's a tough guy and probably hangs in singles to left.
It's a 2-0 ball game, but you got a fella in that batter's box now can handle a bat, a contact hitter. They shorten up on him. La Russa, if he does play hit and run, this is the kind of guy he'll play it with.
He likes to bunt from either side of the plate as well as he takes the strike. And he'll either push or drag a bunt, though he has to keep the corners tight on him. Nobody out.
You see Socia taking a look at that bench. He gets his pitch outs called from the bench.
Interesting thing, too, now he's a switch hitter. I guess you could say, if you had to generalize, that a left-hand batter likes it low, right-hand hitter likes it high, but he's a switch hitter who likes it high from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, that's it. It is an oddity. Left-handed low ball hitter is a rule of thumb, and this guy both ways high.
1-1 on the corner.
Mike really helped that call. You could see the way he caught that ball with that glove, just kind of not up or down, just kind of sideways and moved it in.
Walt Weiss had a wonderful year. He is certainly the A's candidate for the club's 3rd consecutive American League Rookie of the Year. 2-2. He's from New York. At one stage this year, he had a string of 58 straight errorless games. Interesting, too, about the life of a ball player. When you examine Walt Weiss, you want to talk about ups and downs and an anniversary. 2-2. Fouled away. In 1987, Walt Weiss made his debut in a game just before the All-Star game. He went in as a pinch runner, and he was picked off. 1 year later, the game before the All-Star in 1988, he hit a Grand Slam home run. All of that in one short year.
I think when he hit the first home run of his career, that was the ultimate put-down.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Walt. Pop foul off to the left and out of play.
Just to finish that story, the ultimate put-down, because he hit the home run, a woman came up with the ball. She sent it back into the Oakland clubhouse to get it autographed by Mark McGuire. You hit a home run, and look at that.
Well, there's a quote of Walt's. A lot of people said we couldn't win this because we had a rookie. I guess they were wrong. You bet they were wrong. What a year he had. Walt Weiss had a Tuxedo, New York, Suffern High School, and the University of North Carolina. It's 2-0 Dodgers, top of the second. Glenn Hubbard, who drove the Dodgers crazy when he was with Atlanta, at first base, 1 for 1 in the series. The best pitch that Belcher has made tonight.
He's been thrown at 90, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and that one was an off-speed pitch. See what it does here.
Number 34, the pitcher.
That looked like a splitter. You can see that. That sure was. When you see that thing break like that, that's what it was. You can see it. There you see his hand. That was a perfect shot. More like a fork ball because it wasn't that real hard diving where it really chomps into your bat.
The hard one you see is if Tim Leary is pitching. Now with 1 down, here is Dave Stewart. And he has a great memory because we were kidding him about swinging the bat. And he said, there's one thing he'll never be able to take away from me. I once hit a 3-run triple against Mario Soto, the Cincinnati Reds. And don't you think he's never forgotten that? 0-1 to Dave.
He's about 2-3 minutes late on that first fastball that Belcher threw.
Hubbard stole 1 base during the regular year. And with a pitcher up there, he doesn't figure to move. Strike 2, 0-2.
Tell you what that tells you, Vin, right there, though, that Belcher doesn't have much of a breaking ball now. He's got that great fastball. He's throwing. Here's a pitcher who, if he saw a curveball, wouldn't know what to do with it. Probably couldn't identify it, yet he's going 2 fastballs. I would say he's going to go out and get him right now. Let's see what the pitch is. I'd stay with the fastball because it's so good.
What would have been so bad about asking him to bunt?
Nothing.
0-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Those who knew him then and know him now say that the biggest difference with Dave Stewart is confidence. Maybe one reason because he's home. 2-2 the count.
See, that to me is bad pitching. You got 2 strikes. Why are you nibbling? Go right out. Step on his Adam's apple. Get him out there and get the troops in and score some more runs.
And especially an American League pitcher who doesn't bat.
That's right. He hasn't, I mean, counting high school, he's probably had maybe 15 bats.
2-2.
Why work on him? Right down the middle with something on it.
And he got a piece of it.
We have a scouting report we're going to be showing you, and what we've done, we've asked one big league manager, and obviously have to remain nameless. We've talked to scouts, and we will compile this. And I tell you, it's pretty good. It is very good, in fact. A little self-serving, but the manager who gave us so much detail. It would be, we'd need like a cereal to get it all in.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Dave Stewart. Now he goes 3-2. Now remember, Belcher made 28 pitches in the first inning. Lasorda, muttering to himself, saw him hit a batter, walk 1, give up a base hit.
You don't know what that does to your club when you got the pitcher up to you to think it hit, and they go to 3-2. It really lowers everything.
You know the height of confidence?
What?
With 1 out and Stewart hitting, turn Hubbard loose. That would really be saying something.
Well, the shock value would be worth something.
3-2 to Dave. And he walked him.
That's bad pitching.
Well, you're not going to be around too long pitching the way Tim Belcher is pitching. And Ron Paranowski has gone out there. One of the things, and I don't say that's what Belcher's doing now, but one of his problems during the year, he fails to turn his upper torso. When Joe was talking before about his left shoulder, and maybe it was he was opening up, or maybe he's not turning far enough. And that could be a contributing factor to his problem.
That's
Just
what
a guess.
That's what Dempsey was trying to get him to turn that shoulder. Once you do, your whole body, if you turn it far enough. Now, he knows it's bad pitching. Look at the expression on his face. He doesn't coil enough. I'm sure if Paranowski used 2 words, he would say coil and turn, coil and turn.
You know, it wouldn't be a bad play right now because he will do it occasionally. But you know that Belcher is angry at himself, and you have a hit-and-run man who also bunts fairly well at the plate in Carney Lansford. It's 2-0 Dodgers, second inning. Ball 1.
He's a first-pitch fastball hitter. They got to try to crowd him. He can hit with some high pitch with some power. And I'll tell you, you don't give that good curveball in the strike zone, he'll hit that, but Belcher does not have that good a breaking ball.
Fastball, and he was late getting around on it. 1-1. The reason I think that ball was in the spot they want to work on Lansford, they got the ball down on Carney.
But I tell you, when you go around the second time and you see nothing but fastballs, you can crank up that bat a notch too. First 9 batters, he made 47 pitches. Belcher did.
1 ball and 1 strike. 2 on, 1 out, and that's behind him. What a tough spot. And thank goodness that Lansford did not instinctively back away, or he would have backed into it.
That's just complete wildness. There was nothing there. He overthrew that ball, and that is really dangerous because instinctively you back up, and that's how you get beaten. He just was thrown so hard he didn't know what to do. And Socha makes a good play in keeping that ball from getting by him.
You know, one thing we really should remember is that's a rookie pitching in the first game of the World Series.
He just overthrew that ball, and you could see, I mean, that was complete fear on Carney Lansford's face, and I don't blame him.
2-1. And he throws a breaking ball, a slider away, and now he's really in trouble, and the telephone is ringing in the Dodger bullpen.
He has to vent because he's got nothing going but a fastball, and of course it's a 90-mile-an-hour fastball as we look at Leary, but here's a fastball pitcher against a fastball hitter, and you know he's got the hit sign.
3-1 the count. Fastball. As a catcher, there's not very much you can do. You can set a target and then just hope.
That's about it. What you want to do is light candles in a spot like this because you're not thinking. You just hope that he throws it hard enough to get it by him. You have no pitches to work on. Now, La Russa is telling the runners what he wants have done by them. Stewart's got to watch Hubbard. For me, I'd hold him.
3-2, 1 out, second inning, 2-0 Dodgers. Hubbard and Stewart out on the line. And he's walked in to load the bases again.
He got out of it very fortunate in that first inning because Steinbach had a pitch to hit and he just didn't hit it. And now you got Henderson coming up who hit a breaking ball, bounced it up the middle, but Belcher has not had anything but a fastball.
So Dave Henderson coming up with the bases loaded. Hubbard at third, Stewart at second, Lansford at first. 1 out, second inning, and the Dodgers leading 2-0. And Leary throwing back of Belcher.
And Henderson will be looking for his favorite pitch, a fastball.
And it was a hard slider away, ball 1. And they'd best call time because Socha's going to have to go out there and really give him a quick lesson.
Finn, if you were the hitter now, what you'd say is, look, he's getting nothing over but the fastball, and if he throws a slider and it's in the strike zone, I take it because it's got to be strength against strength, and look what you're looking at on deck.
Mount Everest.
Parker said that Stargell had a quick bat, but never has he seen a quick bat like this in strength. He said they only make one model, and they call it a Conseco.
1-0. Fastball fouled away, and the count 1-1. The Oakland A's. First team to sweep in a best-of-7 league championship series as they polished off Boston, and they have spotted the Dodgers 2 here in the early going.
A lot of room in right center.
1-1. Off speed, and he missed. 2-1.
There you see the defense are shading just a tad to pull in center field, and they have to be deep with Henderson. Once again, the 2 breaking pitches missed. Got the strike with the fastball.
Belcher trying to defuse a bomb here in the second. Fastball low, and now he's right on the edge, I'm sure, of coming out.
Right now, he's got to throw the pitch that got him here, which was the fastball. As we look at Hubbard and Stewart and Lansford, and you got a fastball hitter against a fastball pitcher. Look out.
3-1. And that's in there. 3-2.
Oh, but he spotted well on the outside part of the plate.
Henderson struck out about twice as many times as he walked. Very much an offensive hitter. He had a big year. 3-2. Swung on and missed.
He just reared back and popped that one right by him. He knew it was coming. He got it and couldn't hit it.
Jim Belcher is not or has not been a great strikeout pitcher. His high this year, 8, and he did that 3 times. He has already rung up 3. And now with 2 down, the biggest confrontation of the night. The bases loaded, and Jose Canseco.
5 of the first 11 batters, he's had a 3-2 count. You talk about living dangerously.
One ball and no strikes. Hubbard at third, Stewart at second, Lansford at first. Canseco hit by a pitch in the first inning. This is a ball club. The Oakland A's scored over 800 runs this year. And there's a drive to center. Back goes Shelby to the wall. It is gone. Grand slam home run for Jose Canseco.
And look where he hit it. Over the center field fence, a line drive. It didn't get up, it didn't get down, it just got out. We talked about it. They have about 5 guys on that lineup with one swing can turn the game around, and you just saw it here.
Jose Canseco makes Tommy Lasorda sit quietly, and that's quite a trick. It took a grand slam home run to do it, and did he ever smoke it? The forearm bash, and it is 4-2 Oakland here in the second inning, and this big crowd suddenly stunned as Dave Parker checks in. Ball 1. Belcher, by the way, is due to bat 4th in the second inning if he can get that far.
You could see Canseco pointing that it was a line drive. I've never seen a ball. I mean, it didn't get up or down. Then it just went straight out.
2 iron. That's Bobby Welch coming over. 2-0 the count. That's on the hands, fisted foul off third, and it'll go out of play.
Look at those arms with the speed, and you see that little hitch that he's got. He knows it's gone. He's going to watch it all the way. There's no park in America that could hold that one. He knew it.
2-1 to Parker. Ball 3. So if the Dodgers had any momentum at all on Hatcher's 2-run home run in the first inning, that shot that hit the camera gives you the picture. Oakland 4, Dodgers 2. High twisting foul off third down the line. Hamilton trying to get under it, but it's back into the seats.
When you look at Canseco's swing and you see that hitch, that loop that he's got, you really have to be strong. You have to be quick, and he's all of that. He's a tremendous athlete. In fact, McGuire, who hits a lot of home runs himself, said, I'm not a home run hitter. Canseco is. And I tell you, when you hit balls like he hits, and when he goes in the batter's box or in the cage for practice, everybody stops to watch.
And he is something,
isn't he?
3-2. And it is ball 4, and Belcher's troubles continue.
Tommy would like to make a pinch hitting move and hope he gets him out of this inning, but I don't know if he can stay much longer.
To repeat, with Leary and Ricky Horton, the left-hander, in the bullpen, Belcher is due to bat 4th in the bottom of the second inning. But it's a question of whether he can get that far. Bob Watson, the hitting coach, talking to Canseco, a student who got the message.
I tell you, before the game, they have a tee and they hit into a net. When he hits it, it sounds like 4th of July.
0-1 to Mark McGuire, who walked in the first inning. runs, 3 hits for Oakland, 2 runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers, and we're just starting. It's been quite a series already when you think about it. You know, you had the Baylor and the Howell. You have Gibson unable to play. Then you have 2 hit batters and Doug Harvey warning both managers. And then you have a home run by Hatcher and a grand slam home run by Canseco, and the chairs aren't warm. 0-2. Started to go after it, just did hold back. 1-2. A check with Durwood Merrill of the American League at first, no swing.
That's the pitch they think he'll chase, but he's got that 2-strike approach to hitting right there. He just wants to put it in play.
1-2. Check swing on a roller to Griffin. Alfredo the short way to Sachs, but the damage is done, and the Savage is named Canseco. 4-2 Oakland.
Here's that swing again. Now watch that bat kind of loop. Now he's busy with the bat moving it, and when he starts that swing, you really have to be strong to drop your arms and then bring them back up and hit them. If you hit like him, it's a trigger mechanism. If you hit 220, it's a hitch.
And here's Mike Scioscia. Strike. Scioscia, Hamilton, and Griffin. You know, a word, too, about Jose Canseco. He was born in Havana, but he came to the United States when he was 9 months old. A lot of people think of him basically as Cuban. His dad was an English professor in Cuba, and his mom wanted him to be bilingual. And as he said, we'd start to answer a question and answer it half in English and half in Spanish. 1-2.
I know that feeling. Not Spanish.
Italiano.
Oh, man.
Scioscia, contact hitter with 2 strikes, and pops it up on the left side. Walt Weiss, 1 away.
They're hoping to get a base runner because the bullpen is still busy for the Dodgers. Ben pointed out Belcher's the 4th place hitter. As we look at Leary, sort of, he kept him in and had him make a move.
The only time Leary relieved in the league championship series, he really looked like a fish out of water. He has been basically a starting pitcher all year. So with 1 down, Jeff Hamilton the batter.
You know, the 4 runs, it's a double hurt because you score 2 in the bottom half of the first. That's the inning you want your pitcher to shut him down. Not only does he not shut him down, they get the lead.
Hamilton, with all of his numbers, the one thing you would least expect to have happen is for him to walk. He is up there swinging as he comes out of the dugout.
I'm almost surprised he didn't get a take sign because Stewart is known for wildness, especially in the early innings. You're trailing by 2. He knows Lasorda wants to get a pinch hitter up there. Chasing the first ball, not good hitting. Or the second one.
Well, he just will not take.
Well,
I mean, unless you put cuffs on him.
I was going to say, there are ways of making him take.
0-2 to Jeff Hamilton. And, of course, that's a Dominican Republic approach because the Dominicans say, hey, you don't walk off this island. And on deck is Alfredo Griffin. 0-2. So he's up there hacking. There's Alfredo, the former member of the Oakland A's.
It's amazing when you look at, you say former member, the trades, how they all worked out for both ball clubs. I mean, Weiss was really the trigger for all of those trades.
That's great, too, when you analyze these 2 teams in the World Series and you realize 2 men really did it, and they're not on the field. Ground ball to Weiss. He'll crank it up, take care of Jeff. 2 down. Remember last year, the Oakland A's were a break-even ball club. They won 81 games. And now here they are. They demolished the American League and one going away by 13. The Dodgers, for the last 2 years, had lost 89 games, and they wind up winning 94 and getting into the World Series. And the 2 men, Sandy Alderson and Fred Clare, they're the guys who put these 2 teams together.
And certainly deserve a tremendous amount of credit.
Alfredo, and maybe it's because he's in a new league, as you look at Danny Heap on deck. Alfredo has had a miserable year, his first year in the National League.
They're trying to take the bunt away from him at third base. Lansford is all the way in. You know, speaking of Sandy Alderson, Vin, he brought a new expression to baseball, which for me gets my vote as we look at Lansford. He doesn't call cleaning house or making a lot of trades. Reallocation of resources. That'd be nice.
Well, you see what happens when we go to Harvard Law School?
Yeah, but Vin, if I'm in a trade, I'm the player to be named later, but I go home and tell my wife, no, I was a resource that's reallocated. It sounds nice.
2 balls and 1 strike. That missed. Ball 3, 3-1. Some players can come over from one leg to the other. Gibson's an example, have a big year. And another, like Alfredo, it is the longest year of his life. He has never hit 200 all year long, and then had his hand broken for good measure by Dwight Gooden.
Can't figure it out. Look at Lance Parrish, the problems he had.
Right. And Alfredo, you figure, would be the kind of hitter, a slap hitter, a switch hitter,
bunt,
who'd learn a little quicker than a free swinger. And he gets a base hit against his old mates. So he feels at home against American League pitching.
Well, it looked like Stewart wasn't about to walk him. He was going to say, hey, hit you way on. He laid it right in her, and that's what Griffin did.
And now Danny Heap will come up and bat for Belcher. So Belcher, as good as his control, could not muscle his way out of 2 jams. He got away barely in the first inning, and he was hammered in the second.
Heap has had 1 extra base this year. That's surprising to me, Vin.
Yeah, he's really disappointed in himself, especially as a pinch hitter. Danny's had just 4 hits coming off the bench and 40-some-odd at-bats. And, of course, in his heart, he feels he's a much better hitter.
He's got 36 hits and 38 total bases, 34 singles, or 2 doubles. He's got 2 extra base hits.
1-1, 2 down, second inning. Oakland 4 and the Dodgers 2. Carney Lansford hollering to Stewart. That's why he cupped his hand to his ear. He couldn't quite hear him. 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. And, of course, La Russa, sitting on top of a 4-2 lead, knows that even though Stu has won 21, he has his periods of wildness, like everyone. Lasorda's already experienced it. The first game that Tony La Russa managed for the Oakland A's, Dave Stewart beat Roger Clemens 1-0. There's a ground ball to short. Weiss will have to go to first base for the out. With a left-hand hitter up, Hubbard was playing Heap in the hole. And at the end of 2, 4-2 Oakland. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. The Goodyear blimp from Los Angeles. The pilot, Dr. Jim Maloney from Vienna, Virginia. A Goodyear blimp first appeared at a West Coast Series game in 1959 when the White Sox played the Dodgers. Piloted by Dr. Jim Maloney? I've heard of house calls. That's a tough way to do it.
Where does he park it?
Here's Terry Steinbach to start it off. Ball 1. Steinbach flied to center for the last out with the bases loaded in the first inning. Terry will be followed by Glenn Hubbard and then Walt Weiss. Tim Leary is the new Dodger pitcher. Fastball and split finger. Leary won 17 games during the regular season, but he paid a price. He really was the 1988 edition of Mike Scott of Houston. He won 3 games last year, was very disgusted, and went to the Mexican League and pitched over 100 innings in Mexico to learn the split finger. Well, you add that 100 to the 228 in the regular season, and let's face it, whether he denies it or not, he had to get tired. And when he became tired, his mechanics changed, and suddenly he wasn't nearly the pitcher he was up until he was 6-1 in August. 2-1.
And he was commuting to Mexico. I mean, he was putting his uniform on in Santa Monica and driving down there and then pitching and driving back. And now here he is in the World Series. I mean, that alone would wear you out.
He's a local product, went to school at UCLA. His mom was the club golf champ at the Riviera Country Club, one of the fine country clubs in America.
Boy, that would be embarrassing. Play your mother, she's got to give you shots.
Right, 3-2. If I said 100 games, 100 innings in Mexico added to the 200 and something he pitched. So you get the idea. He was weary. 3-2 the count to Terry Steinbach. Hit a fastball off the glove of Hamilton, deflected to Griffin, no play. And boy, I tell you, if you were a scout, write it down. Did he have a turn on an inside fastball?
Well, he missed with that pitch. What Leary wanted to do, I'm sure, get it in. We'll see the ball. He really drills it. And you can see Hamilton try to backhand it off his glove. But if you're going to, he tried to sidearm him, and that ball runs inside, but didn't run inside enough. He missed on the wrong side. You can see Hamilton giving like a bullfighter, and I don't blame him, boy. That's a reaction position, and he had to react to keep him getting hurt.
So Terry Steinbach turned a fastball inside out, and here is Glenn Hubbard. Oakland 4, Dodgers 2, top of the third inning. On the inside corner, 0-1.
Now, you would think that Hubbard had hit and run a lot, but they don't hit and run that much. Now, he may be trying something. Sometimes when a guy's not swinging the bat a lot, a manager will start a play to get him to swing the bat, but Hubbard got a base hit his last time up.
You would think he would be rusty. Remember, he missed the playoffs with Boston because of a hamstring pull. But he singled first at bat and hits one to the hole. He's 2 for 2. Steinbach to second. They'll hold him there. And so Leary, who did not pitch well in relief the one time the Dodgers used him against the Mets, is immediately in trouble here.
And you got a guy up there who can bunt, certainly sacrifice, and can push or drag, probably one of the best in the major league. So the Dodgers are in trouble.
2 on and nobody out. And Walt Weiss, the batter, followed by Stewart. And Tony La Russa leading 4-2.
Dodgers not looking for bunts. Socha kind of warning him a little bit. But Stubbs is back. If he drags that ball, he's got himself a base hit. I'd shorten up a little bit, at least at first and third.
Stubbs remains behind Hubbard. Hamilton about even with the bag at third. The outfield, a big gap in right center.
Very shallow. He doesn't have much power. Hits the opposite field.
Rolls one up along first, foul. Knocked down by Rene Latchman, and the count 0-1.
You'd be bunting for a base hit is what you'd be doing, to give up yourself right here. He can handle that bat. Stewart would not exactly put fear into you in the on-deck circle like a Canseco would, but you want to keep it going. Playing back, Sachs and Griffin, I could understand, get the double play, but if I were Stubbs, I'd kind of protect a little bit.
No balls and 1 strike. And he lifts one to left center. Shelby and Hatcher. It's Hatcher to pick it off, and the run is hold. 1 down, Dave Stewart coming up. We'll see now if they ask Stewart to bunt, basically to hope to move the runners along, but more importantly, to stay out of the double play.
You want to get the top of that order up there, Lansford, that's for sure, and the only way you can do it is to stay away, and Stewart has to be bunting.
You know, you talk about you want your ball players lean and hungry. Stewart never eats before he pitches. He says that he found that the nerves were too much for him, so he never eats. So we're looking at a hungry hitter. 2 on, 1 out in the third. A's 4, Dodgers 2.
And that's how baseball has really changed for me, I tell you.
The fact that he wasn't around to bunt?
Wasn't around to bunt. Of course, it's not just me. I heard McCarver and Palmer moaning the same way as I am. I mean, you got to keep the inning going. You know, if he could hit.
1 ball and no strikes to Stewart. Stubbs is still back. He doesn't have a thought of a bunt. And apparently not going to get one. 1-1. Now we'll see if he puts it on. La Russa and Bob Watson.
I think if I were Lefebvre at third, I'd holler, bunt.
You know,
spell it out.
By the way, and I know this from the course of the regular year, it's not necessarily Lefebvre hanging out the signs. La Russa will mix it up. He'll have Rene Latchman, the first base coach, do a lot of the signs. There's the bunt attempt, and it's going to go foul in the count 1-2.
Well, that's all changed. It used to be that a right-hand hitter would take his signs from the first base coach, and a left-hand hitter would just take it from third base. But La Russa, and then you don't know what's happening on the bench. I mean, I've been on ball clubs where 2 guys down, like Dave McCabe might be given the sign, or the trainer might be given the sign, or somebody will grab a handful of dirt sitting out there like he's just watching the game giving the signs, because everybody's trained on that bench.
1 ball and 2 strikes. The count is Stewart. 2 on, 1 out. And see if they have him bunting again, despite the 2 strikes. Nope. And he's gone anyway. That's strange.
That's one of those plays where by striking out, he kept the inning alive. If it's a ground ball, it's a double play. It was a good pitch on the outside corner. Now watch Stewart. He's bearing down like he thinks he can get a base hit, and he's really concentrating. Look at those eyes. He's going to hit it. He can't believe it.
And all eyes watched him strike out.
Oh, you got the ball catcher? I can't believe it. Isn't that a great shot?
2 on and 2 out, and now a different story. Carney Lansford struck out in the first inning and walked in the second. First ball hitter, but takes a splitter away. Ball 1, 1-0. Steinbach at second, Hubbard at first, 2 away. 4-2 Oakland. We're in the top of the 3rd inning.
Boy, I tell you, Dodgers must think they're playing with 2 infields. They've had runners all over the place.
And little late, he's jammed, hits it foul, and that should go out of play, and does. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. We have a moment to point it out for historians. Carney Lansford is the 4th player in history in both the Major League World Series to play and the Little League World Series.
Yeah, got beat by Taiwan.
That's right.
But in the Little League, who hasn't been beaten by Taiwan?
It was the first time, his club, first time Taiwan had ever won in the Little League. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball chopped to the left of Griffin. Alfredo on the bag to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits and 2 left at the end of 2 1/2. A's 4, Dodgers 2. Kirk Gibson frustrating and edgy in the far corner of the Dodger dugout as Steve Sachs takes ball 1. If you missed it, Gibson was examined by Dodger team physician Dr. Frank Jobe. Diagnosed Gibson as having a sprain of the medial collateral ligament and surrounding tissue in his right knee. Fly ball to right field, and Canseco is there. 1 away. To conclude the Gibson report, the injury sustained in Game 7 of the League Championship Series, the knee was injected with xylocaine and cortisone. He'll be re-examined tomorrow, and his condition is day to day. Problem with the World Series, ain't many days.
That's right. You talk about a short series, you can get short in a hurry.
Franklin Stubbs, who is playing only because Gibson is down, flied to center in the first inning when Stewart made a great off-speed pitch on him. 0-1 to count.
There's that fork ball. You see it really go down off speed, and if he throws that 2 more times to Stubbs, Stubbs is going to be out of there.
No balls and 1 strike. Went after a sinking fastball on the count 0-2. Stewart is the basic hard thrower. If the fastball is up, it has a tendency to be straight. But if he can get that fastball down, it does just what it did to Stubbs. That was a great pitch. 0-2. That's that high fastball, kind of a showcase. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mickey Hatcher, who hit the 2-run home run in the first inning, is on deck. Still 1-2. Tony La Russa trying to get the Oakland A's off on the right foot.
Say, he's not gotten the credit he deserves, much like Lasorda.
1-2. And Stubbs hits one down the left field line. Parker coming over near the line to backhanded for the out. And boy, that ball really carried.
And he was overplaying Stubbs to pull. And Parker, it's a little job for him to get over there. I mean, it's almost like an adventure.
He has only played 34 games this year in the outfield, so that's a good play for him. And in somebody else's ballpark.
Say, he put a little excitement into that catch.
Hatcher hits one foul off and will go into the crowd. 0-1. This, of course, one of the great moments for the Mickey Hatcher Marching and Chowder Society. It occurred in the first inning. 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
bend in the middle. That's as good a breaking pitch as he's thrown.
That'll drive you up the plate, too. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count of Mickey Hatcher.
Here's where he wants to get him. He doesn't want to go to 3-2. Just shook him off.
And that's popped foul off to the right. Steinbach and McGuire on the run, and it goes off the glove of Steinbach. Understandably, he took his eye off the ball to see where he was, and then he couldn't quite find it.
I think it would have been an easier play for McGuire. He was coming towards it. Steinbach got near that dugout, and he really gets a little bit leery of it. Now, he'll take a quick peek here. There he goes looking. McGuire really coming at it, saw how far he was. I think he could have taken charge and probably made that play. He got too close to that dugout, and he said, I'm going in, and look out. Down he goes to protect himself. That's what you do.
I don't know how anybody ever runs with shin guards.
It's not that bad. Now, his shin guards, though, I started to make a mention. The last thing he does is fix it. It's been loose like that the whole inning. I'm surprised nobody told him the left shin guard was loose, and after he got down there, he fixed it. That strap was hanging down.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count. You know what I think of when I see a catcher run? Remember when you were a kid and the sole of your shoe came off and it would flap?
Yeah, a lot of kids use that for a toy. Of course, now those shin guards are so much bigger.
Ball 4 to Hatcher. And that, of course, is an ill-advised move for Stewart. It not only brings up the potential tying run, but is the biggest hitter the Dodgers have now in the absence of Kirk Gibson, Mike Marshall, who struck out in the first inning.
And this is shades of Gooden when he pitched to Scioscia after Shelby walked. That's bad pitching.
Marshall hit 20 during the regular year. Way out in front. I was going to say his nature is such that he is a very anxious hitter. He will lunge, he will chase pitches, but when he does wait, then there's something magical.
But it's usually the fastball. They've been getting on breaking balls. The last time was just 3 breaking balls, and he chased them.
0-1. Fastball on the hands, and there's not very much he could do except turn on it and pull it foul. 0-2, and all Gibson can do, what is it? They also serve who only stand and wait.
Now is when you widen that strike zone on Marshall. You got a chance here to work on him and get that ball out of the zone, and he may just chase it for you.
Breaking ball, line to third, and Carney Lansford speared it.
That's the best pitch he had to hit. He was lucky to get out of there.
So the Dodgers leave Hatcher, and at the end of 3, 4-2 Oakland. We go to the 4th inning. Dave Henderson, Jose Canseco, and Dave Parker. 4-2 Oakland, and one slice down the right field line in the corner, bouncing and touched by a fan for the ground rule double. So Henderson is 2 for 3.
And he has swung at the first pitch every time up. Now you would think, and I'm sure, I mean, we're not geniuses up here, that the Dodgers have a scouting report that says first ball hitter. Why give him a good ball to hit on the first pitch?
And Henderson is very much a veteran of World Series play, not quite as much as Don Baylor and Dave Parker, but let's put it this way, with 2 hits tonight, he's had 18 hits, including 3 home runs in his World Series play.
And he's bounced around. Like I'm one of those guys, they say he can't hold a job.
What a comeback player.
Right.
From 86 and last year, he was with the Giants, but you had to look hard to find him. And now here is the man. Canseco hit by a pitch in the first inning and then killed the ball in the second with the bases loaded. Not to mention what he almost did to our cameraman in center field. And that's about as hard as you can hit a ball.
And this is a complete athlete. He can do it all. He can beat you with the bat, speed, glove, arm.
1 ball and no strikes.
I think the thing that he's done more than anything, he's become patient. He's still a little over-aggressive, but not like he used to be. In fact, Boddicker used to call him Jose No Mistako. I mean, now, you get 2 strikes, he'll widen it out. He hits a lot of home runs with 2 strikes.
2 balls and no strikes, the count to Jose. Pickoff play to Griffin.
hours of work in spring training for that play to work as closely as that. Just did get back to look at Griffin.
So the big man waiting, slightly open stance as you see, and that's one thing if you're a catcher you had better do with him because he adjusts almost on every pitch. 2-1.
Bob Watson talks about that, Vin. He says it's tough, but he's been more consistent with his stances. It's tough to tell a guy what he's doing when you don't know what he's doing when he's actually right and hitting the ball and in the groove because he moves so much.
In fact, that would make him unlike the majority of major league players today who just get in the box and stay there forever.
Not Jose.
2-1. Ball 3.
Oh, they're trying to jam him, and I tell you, you better miss like that. You miss out over the plate, you're going to be another 2 runs behind.
We were talking earlier about how ideally you say, okay, keep the ball inside on Canseco. Don't let him extend his arms. Jam him, jam him, jam him. But if you think you can just keep jamming him, then you're in trouble. Big chopper to the hole. Flagged by Griffin, who wisely goes to Sachs, who will run down Henderson. Oh, what a heads-up play.
And he looked like he was going to go to third base, and Henderson with bad base running, he's got to let that ball get through that infield. And what Griffith did, he was no way he was going to get Canseco. Now look, he looks at third like he's expecting a play, and now he goes to second base, and there's Henderson, who really should have bought a ticket because he was just watching the play.
Oh, I love Major League plays. That was a great one.
That's a reaction play. You can't practice that play. You have to have that play happen in front of you and say, well, what am I going to do? Right now, he's thinking what he's going to do, get him at third, knows he can't get him at first, and he sees a little peripheral vision, picks up Henderson, and bye-bye Dave.
And when you think about it, it's also a tribute to Walt Weiss. They traded Griffin away.
That's right. Pretty good ball player, but you don't get a good ball player unless you got another good one coming up. So we're seeing 2 pretty good shortstops.
Well, here's the Cobra, as they used to call him always in Pittsburgh. Of course, he played in the '79 World Series, playing under the National League rules with no DH. Luis Polonius sits down, and the big Cobra's in the lineup hitting 4th.
You know, just one other thing I want to point out. It was a great play by Griffin. Saxey was on top of that play because Saxey could have been deep and just watched it because he figures the ball's going to go through, but he went over to the bag, and Griffin had somebody to throw it to. Too many times when you watch a ball game, you look at it and guys turn into spectators. You've seen that, man.
Oh, sure. That was a wonderful play.
It really was.
Little number to the right of the mound. Leary has to pick it up as it dives, and he has trouble finding Stubbs. Throws it down the line, and they're going to call Parker out for running inside the lane. Dave Parker will be out because he did not run in the 40-foot lane. Doug Harvey, the plate umpire, will explain it. I said that Leary was having trouble finding Stubbs, and the reason was Big Parker was running inside the lane, and he is out.
LaRusse is going to go to his legal background to try to get a logical explanation, but Harvey's not having or hearing any of it.
A lot of people who are not aware of the rules wonder what that lane is for, just for this reason. Look at Parker digging now. Watch where his feet are.
Oh, he's way inside. Way inside. In fact, there's no way. Yeah, that's a good call.
And I'll tell you one thing. If you can't find Franklin Stubbs, it's an awfully big runner running inside the line.
Yeah, but look at that handball court running down to first. I mean, that's a big man. He's got to run in that line, and I think it's a good call. The only way you could find Stubbs is if he was standing on the bag with the glove way out towards the infield. He wasn't doing that, didn't have to.
And Leary had a tough play, too, because the ball, when it hit the grass, did not come up. Yeah, it went down like a poached egg, and he had to go after it. You can see the walkie-talkie in the hand of Coach Bill Russell. He's talking to the Dodger Eye in the Sky, and those 2 names bring back the 1974 World Series between the Dodgers and Oakland. So here's McGuire, walked, hit into a force play, 0 for 1.
You know, McGuire doesn't get the headlines with Canseco around, but the most home runs the last 2 years, McGuire with 81, Strawberry 78, Canseco 73.
Big Mark McGuire. Little roller up along third, foul, and the count 0-1. McGuire is 6'5" and 225 pounds, so he is really put together. Canseco is 6'3" and 230. Parker is 6'5" and 240.
I think somebody took a composite, and Parker, McGuire, Canseco, and Baylor came out to 6'3½", 225.
Team photo covers your whole wall.
Tag team match is what they are.
0-1 to count to Mark McGuire. 4-2 Oakland in the fourth inning.
The thing I like about McGuire, Vin, he's not home run crazy. He says, I want to get hits to drive in runs. He says, after all, a home run's nothing but a hit that leaves the park. What a way of looking at it.
Which, you know, is another thought about Canseco and what kind of a year he had. Remember, you have a 40 stolen base man at first. Canseco, with his home runs and his stolen bases, as he stands at first, he hit 307. And everybody's talking about how far he hit the ball, how hard he hit it. He's a 300 hitter.
And he told the Fever in spring training, he said, I think I can hit 300. And Jimmy said, when he said that to me, I said, he's matured. He's matured as a hitter. He wants to be a complete player.
1-1.
Boy, well, there's a franchise. That's all you can say. He is a franchise.
2 down in the fourth inning. One thing they say about Canseco is he has a tendency to lean, and they try to hold the ball on him. So if Leary just freezes him, that's what he's trying to do. In other words, he'll throw over there, but if he likes to take a walking lead, does Canseco. In other words, the old story of a body in motion tends to stay in motion. And so the opposition will try and just come set and make him get back down on the heels.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he's got the green light to go. But if he runs with McGuire up there, I think La Russa will have a talk with him.
1-1. And there he goes. Ball 2, and it's dropped by Socha. Well, didn't he try to steal third with 2 out against Boston?
Well, he's got it on his own, because La Russa said to him, he said, I'm going to tell you something. You got to run to win ball games, and you better have a high percentage. Now, Socha's got a pretty good ball to handle right here. He just doesn't catch it. He was ready to throw it with the one-hand grab, and he loses it. Canseco, Weiss, they all run on their own. Polonia's another one.
Now they're going to take the bat out of McGuire's hands. They'll put him on.
And that's why I say that when you steal a base, sure, you get another base runner, but you got a guy up here that can sock it. And you got Steinbach coming up. Sure, he's got some pop, but he didn't have that McGuire pop. I don't think that was a good play to steal right there. I'd want McGuire to swing.
So remember, in the inning, Henderson opened up with a double to right. Canseco hit one to the hole. Alfredo Griffin and Steve Sachs made a good play to get Henderson. Then Parker was out on a nubber running inside the first base foul line. Now the stolen base and the intentional walk to McGuire. So at least for the moment, Oakland doing a lot of things, and nothing has happened. Terry Steinbach flied to center and had an infield single. Steinbach was hit by a thrown ball leaving the batting cage and suffered a fractured orbital bone around his left eye. That's why he's wearing that helmet a la Glenn Hubbard. One ball and no strikes. Leary going to a breaking ball that time. Canseco at second, McGuire at first, 2 out. Leary throws a pitch that you hear a lot about now, a cut fastball.
Cut fastball, backdoor sliders, terms of the 80s.
1-0. And that looked like one, and he missed with it. Ball 2, 2-0.
It's a ball that sails. In my day, it would just be a ball that sailed.
What they claim is you either hold the ball off center or you put more pressure on one finger than the other to make that fastball run in that direction.
Well, it's like a bad slider. Some guys, when I throw a bad slider, as we look at Peranowski, will say, well, if it's a bad slider, it becomes a cut fastball. Also becomes a triple.
2 balls, no strikes. There's the fastball. No fuss about it, and the count 2-1.
The good fastball pitcher throws one of 2 fastballs, the 4-seamer that rises or the 2-seamer that sinks. and he works on control. All the other stuff, I mean, sounds good, and it's good in the explanations, but it gives you a lot of L's in the Sunday paper.
Jim Leary in relief of Tim Belcher. Canseco and McGuire on the lines with 2 out. Late on the fastball, and the count 2-2. 4 runs, half a dozen hit for Oakland. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. A home run by Hatcher with a man aboard, and a monstrous grand slam by Jose Canseco in the 2nd inning. Dave Parker hollering a little encouragement.
Well, it's been one of those games for Oakland. They're leading 4-2, but they really should have a pile of runs here, and the Dodgers are hanging tough.
So deuce is wild on Terry Steinbach. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. 4-2 Oakland. Fastball still fouled away.
You know, you see Socha set up like that, and Leary was able to hit that spot. Sometimes when a catcher moves too soon, he really doesn't know it. And so they have somebody on the bench who will be watching Socha to see that he doesn't move too much, because at second base, Canseco can give the location. And if you know that ball is going to be away from you, you're going to dive into it with that swing and be able to do something. Not with that last one. That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Got it. No runs, a hit, 2 left, and it's still 4-2 Oakland. It was Game 4 of the 1969 World Series. J.C. Martin, the pinch hitter for Seaver, got his bunt down. Pete Rickard of Baltimore picked it up. The throw along the line hit the runner, and the winning run scored. That's going back almost 20 years ago. Tonight, we had an argumentative play involving Tony La Russa, Dave Parker in the play at first, and now we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. 1-1 the count to John Shelby, who grounded out in the 1st inning. Shelby has a lot of trouble with that pitch, off speed and especially away, which is one big reason why he struck out 120 some odd times this year.
Struck out 12 times in the league championship games against the Mets.
Out there, but this time he got a piece of it.
It's the breaking ball out there that gets him.
1-2 to John Shelby. 4-2 Oakland, bottom of the 4th. And Dave Stewart ready to go back to work. Pulled foul.
I tell you, for a first game, we've had plenty.
Wow.
Hit batsmen, home runs, warnings.
There's Brian Holton down in the Dodger bullpen. Lasorda looking ahead. His pitcher would be due up 5th in the inning. One and 2. And there it is. They just keep that ball away, and John keeps coming up empty.
But that was a fastball. It was high, and it's a riding fastball. You see it all. I mean, the simple explanation is the high fastball, you see all the ball. The low one, you only see half, but it's out of the strike zone, definitely. He wants it low, Steinbach, but look where it is. I mean, it's high outside, and he just could not reach it.
It's amazing. I wonder, and I'm sure he has studied tapes as to whether his bat can cover the area that he thinks it can cover, because in looking at him all year, why, that's where they pitch him, and that's where he swings, and that's where he misses.
That's the first thing you do when you get in the box and you take those practice swings.
Fly ball to center field. Dave Henderson is there. That'll take care of Mike Socha. 2 out in the 4th inning.
Finn, while Hamilton's coming up, I want to talk about that Don Baylor Howell thing. I was talking to Claire Smith at the Hartford Corral, who's a good friend of Baylor's. And then I asked Baylor, I said, it's not like him to pop off. I said, you know, yesterday in the workout, Canseco had a few riders around him. McGuire had no riders around him. I really believe that Baylor let out the blast to take the heat off the young players, because wherever Baylor went, everybody followed him. And when I confronted him and said, was that a plan? He said, you don't know me that well. I said, I'm not asking you that. Was it a plan? He said, yes. So it was all calculated.
Uh-huh.
It really was. And And when you think about it, that's what leadership is. That's what the old guys do.
Excuse me, but look at Fernando. He's kiddingly, as if he were angry, refusing to give Lasorda the ball. He is really a character. Well, I get the point, though, that Baylor decided to
take the heat off the kids, and that's what he did. And that, to me, is leadership.
0-2 the count to Jeff Hamilton, who grounded to short in the second inning. Dave Stewart roughed up in the first inning, but he has settled down since, allowed just one hit.
On the other side of the coin, Dempsey told Belcher not to get caught up in the hoopla, and Belcher only bought one ticket for the World Series.
Half swing, see you later for Hamilton. The Dodgers tiptoe out of the fourth inning. It's 4-2 Oakland. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
There he is. A pretty good plan going into this thing, and he took the heat off the kids all right, which is what he was brought over for. The leaders show some leadership. Always tickles me when they talk about guys being leaders and about all they do is they holler 2 outs, and you got a $7 million scoreboard that says the same thing.
Show me. There's Glenn Hubbard. He'll show you. He's 2 for 2, both times singles to left. He's putting a pretty good player back on the bench, Mike Gallego, who had a good series. But Hubbard is something. Of course, for a while when he played with Atlanta, he wore a beard. He really did look like he came off a cough drop box. And once he got rid of that, he looked much younger, and he's been playing very well. 1-1 to count to Glenn, born in West Germany at Hahn Air Force Base. He looks like something that fell out of Dave Parker's pocket. 1-1. Ground ball to the hole. Griffin is up with it. The off-balance throw got him on a good stretch by Stubbs.
All in one motion. That's the amazing thing about him. He knew that Hubbard, not that fast, but I'd say a better than average runner. Now watch what happens here. All in one motion. He's moving, and just keeps right on going. Throws it off balance, off the back foot. Accurate throw. Really an easy play.
Alfredo Griffin, a mainstay in the Dodger infield, which is exactly why they traded for him. And here now is Walt Weiss, the kid who took over for Alfredo and has done such a great job for Oakland all year. Struck out, flied to left. Kid from New York is 0 for 2. Chopper to Stubbs. He backs up, almost fell down, stays with it. 2 down in the 5th inning.
Say they have a good chance of going 1-2-3 here, and that's going to perk up the club and the crowd. Watch Stubbs. He kind of backs up, almost loses his footing right there.
So Dave Stewart coming up and had one of the bigger at-bats in the game. And I know you're saying, oh, sure, but it's true. In the 2nd inning, he walked. And that eventually led to the grand slam home run by Canseco. You just don't expect an American League pitcher to walk in Game 1 in the National League ballpark. And it turned out to be a killer. 0-1.
2 base on balls in that inning. Base on balls, there's no defense against it. Canseco's going to hit the home runs. You're not going to stop him, but you got to do something about the base on balls.
0-1. Aha, tried to push one up along first, 0-2. So Stewart, who could only talk about that 3-run triple against Mario Soto, can now talk about his walk in the World Series. And the 4 generations of Stewarts up in East Oakland have to be thrilled. Homeboy is doing well.
And he gives the hometown a lot back.
0-2. He was always one of the more popular Dodgers as he takes strike 3 for the first time tonight. The A's are gone in order. It's still 4-2 Oakland. I have seen a lot of great pitching over the years, working day after day in baseball. But Oral Hershiser had a stretch that all of us still find hard to believe. He'll be the pitcher tomorrow night. That's his coach, pitching coach Ron Paranowski with him. Bottom of the 5th inning, Alfredo Griffin, then Tracy Woodson, And then the leadoff man, Steve Sachs. So there's Woodson.
Griffin really pulls him in tight. Third base, Lansford's on the grass, and McGuire is back, but not as far back as Hubbard.
That's to the screen, ball 2, 2-0. You might notice directly behind home plate in that white Panama hat, Mike Brito, and you can hit 300 with that cigar, but he is in charge of the speed gun, as he is all year long. 2-0. And that's ball 3. And of course, Stewart, remember, gave a 2-out walk to Hatcher in the 3rd. The last thing that Stu wants to do now is walk the leadoff hitter in the 5th. And he's done just that.
On the heels of a 1-2-3 inning, that's the momentum. You're looking at Dave Duncan. What he looks at Stewart is the kick of the leg. He says he has to have a little bit of a pause there. If he goes right on through it, he's rushing it a bit because he's a wrapper. And what he means by that, he'll wrap that right hand around that ball, kind of bend his wrist a little bit. And Duncan really has him measured because it was Duncan who suggested the fork ball, which really helped him. And when you talk to Stewart, he says he's not only a pitching coach, it's more friend to friend when we talk.
Tracy Woodson, who plays a little 3rd and 1st, hit about 250 for the regular year and was 3 for 9 coming off the bench. So here's the pinch hitter. That's that good running fastball, the one that he keeps down. 0-1 to count.
Watch his delivery now. He's got to have a little. He did have the pause, but see how he wraps that ball around his. He's got that wrist kind of bent there. He said, and it really is what he watches.
0-1. Fastball, big chopper to shortstop. Weiss down to Hubbard, and that's all. Ball is not hit hard enough.
Hubbard got off that bag in a hurry, didn't he?
And Griffin right down there with him, so you have 1 away. Bruce Fremming of the National League, the umpire, at 2nd, and that'll bring up Steve Sachs.
You know, Ben, it's easy to second guess, but Griffin did walk, and I know Woodson's a pinch hitter, but can he not go up there and at least take 1 strike?
Amazing.
I mean, maybe draw another base on balls. The first 2 pitches he did hit. You want the guy to swing the bat, but 1 strike is not too much to ask.
Where's Steve Sachs? He was hit by the pitch in the 1st inning and flied to right in the 3rd. Ball 1. Although, is it not a basic theory? A pinch hitter, you go up there, and as soon as you get a ball to hit, you go after it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I say you want him to hit, but I mean, a lot of pinch hitters will at least take a strike in a spot like this. You're trailing. He's not what you'd call a home run hitter.
It's 4-2 A's, bottom of the 5th, time. Woodson had 1 stolen base during the regular year, and the Dodgers do not play hit and run with Sachs very much, if you're thinking along those lines. He slices one to right center. Henderson is there, makes the catch, and Woodson back to 1st. And now the batter will be Franklin Stubbs. This, of course, an interesting battle because Stewart has that really good low fastball. Stubbs is very much a low fastball hitter, and some of the better pitchers that Stewart has made tonight have been to Franklin, where he has taken off some of the smoke.
He's got to use that fork ball, which will make his fastball a little more effective, but I think he wants to make a decision with the fork ball.
Started him fastball on the corner.
Keep the fastball up and in. Well, that wasn't one up and in. He'll drive the low hard stuff, that's pretty sure. Off speed, which would, in Stewart's case, mean the fork ball and split finger.
0-1.
There it is.
In the dirt, gets away, way off to the left. Woodson to 2nd and will hold there. And it was the pitcher, Dave Stewart, who had to run it down. He really got off the mound in a hurry.
That was the split finger, because watch how hard he throws it. And I mean, it just goes straight down. And Steinbach did get in front of it, but it hit his shin guard. And you don't know where it's going. Here, you look at it right here. There you can see the split. You can see the split right there. And those eyes, those are the kind of eyes that Dick Hauser used to call fighter pilot eyes.
Tony La Russa, I think, calls it his death look. If you go out to take him out and he looks at you with those bulbs, it's his death look.
But he was bearing down on that one. I mean, his eyes widened out. He was going to throw that thing hard for a strike and threw it about 55 feet.
1 ball, 1 strike to Franklin Stubbs. Tracy Woodson at second. 2 out in the 5th inning. A's 4, Dodgers 2. Ground ball to first. McGuire will take it to the bag, and that's that. No runs, no hits, a man left, and at the end of 5. Oakland 4, Los Angeles 2.
The 1988 World Series is brought to you by Nissan, inviting you to test drive the new 240 SX.
The totals through 5 innings. The Athletics 4 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. The Dodgers 2 runs, 2 hits, and no errors. The Dodgers using Tim Belcher, Tim Leary, and Brian Holton. And the Oakland A's relying on Dave Stewart, their 21-game winner during the regular year. And so far for Stewart, he is leading 4-2, although he gave up a 2-run home run in the 1st inning to Mickey Hatcher. That was wiped away on a grand slam home run by Jose Canseco in the 2nd. In looking at the left-on-base numbers, you realize that Oakland could easily have broken this game into little pieces. They left 3 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 4th. But they're still leading. Brian Holton will be pitching to Carney Lansford. Then Dave Henderson and Jose Canseco. And the first pitch is hammered to left center. Shelby on the move. Picks it off. 1 away. Brian Holton, an unsung member of the Dodger bullpen, greeted by a hard out off the bat of Carney Lansford. Good play by Shelby. 1 down, and Dave Henderson the batter. Brian Holton was telling us that in the league championship series and all the pressure, the first time he came in New York, he really was overcome with nerves. And you know what he did? He said out of nowhere he heard the old song, you know, you take the high road and I take the and he began singing it while warming up, and it worked. It loosened him up. Next time he was brought in, he was singing it, and the chances are, as he came in from the bullpen, no one knows about it, but he was probably singing you take the high road again. 0-1. Of course, you wonder sometimes, under great pressure, under great emotional strain, how wonderful it would be if you had some reliable device to loosen up.
You know what I used to hope for in a big game? First pitch would hit a foul tip and hit me. Not hurt me, but just give me enough pain to take my mind off it.
Ground ball to Alfredo. 2 down. I'll show you another way to take pressure off a hitter. Let's say you have a great big guy coming up and the bases are loaded. Well, here's a good way to take the pressure off.
Look at those arms. You see arms like that only in comic strips when they've drawn. Oh, did he know it was gone?
And
watch the cameraman
hit the center field camera.
He didn't duck either.
1 ball and no strikes to Canseco. Remember Wilbur Stargell, the Hall of Famer. Remember how big he was. And Wilbur said when he began his professional career, he weighed about 150 pounds. Canseco, when he was a teenager, weighed less than 170 pounds and was just under 6 feet. But then when that steroid stuff came out,
that wasn't fair.
No, and he said, look at my charts. And they looked back in 1986 and he weighed 220.
I talked to Barry Weinberg, the trainer, about that, and he's got the whole thing, and it wasn't fair. And what bothered Jose was he said, you know, the young kids, especially those in Miami, and he worries about that. He said they're going to think, well, you take steroids, you can do it. There's a difference between strength and bodybuilding. He just went to strength. And that was a very unfair thing.
There's a 1-hopper at third. Hamilton stays with it, throws him out. So Brian Holden very quietly just comes in and sets him down 1-2-3. It's still 4-2 Oakland. Mickey Hatcher, who hit the 2-run home run in the 1st inning, he walked last time up. And hits a fly ball to center shallow. Henderson started a little back, but he was able to retrieve. 1 away. Dave Stewart has lost
the air out of that bench. And that's why it's so important to really bear down on that first guy, that first out. And you can almost see it in Stewart when he walked out there.
Here's Mike Marshall, struck out. And then, and so far, the biggest frustration moment for the Dodgers offensively occurred to Mike in the third inning. In there, split finger. With 2 out, Hatcher walked, and Marshall got a breaking ball and drilled it. But it was hit to Carney Lansford's glove side, and Carney was able to make the play. Fouled away. Another thought, as you look at Dave Stewart on the mound, and as you see Mickey Hatcher pacing up and down in the dugout, Stewart led all Oakland pitchers in complete games. He had 14 complete games while pitching 275 innings. And what that does, every time Stewart pitched, when you think about it, he made a contribution to the bullpen. And the Oakland bullpen set a major league record with 64 saves, and part of it was Dave Stewart. Line to right, base hit. So the crowd here at Dodger Stadium has not had very much to cheer about since the first inning. But Marshall, a 1-out single. John Shelby, the batter. The Dodgers' first hit since the second inning, and we're in the bottom of the sixth. Shelby grounded out and struck out.
Took something off. Changed the speed, and Shelby was out in front. So when you get in a groove like that, it's really tough. I mean, they change speeds on you, put in good spots, you chase the bad ball, you just don't have any idea.
And there's a ground ball up the middle, base hit. Marshall to second, he will hold there. The ball hit the top of the mound and almost flattened it. And the Dodgers now with runners at first and second and 1 out. And Mike Soto hits a fastball and right back up the middle. Stewart, his follow-through not very good, and it's a base hit. It was a fastball, a good one in the strike zone, and Shelby really sent it right back up the middle. So 2 on and 1 out. And Mike Socha, the batter, he has popped up and flied to center, and the A's are moving around in the bullpen. Strike on the outside corner. Socha hit just less than 260, and he is a man involved in plays. If they play hit and run, it's usually Socha because he's a contact hitter. Being a catcher and a veteran, he's liable to hit into a double play. So they usually try to defeat that with some kind of a hit and run play. And he bangs it into left, base hit. Here comes Marshall to score. Stopping at second is Shelby.
And the Dodgers, what they've done is just change their attack as Dave Duncan looks like he's coming out. What they've done, go the opposite field. Marshall hits it to right field. Shelby up the middle, didn't try to pull it, and Socha goes the other way.
So the pattern with that split finger, the fork ball, and that low sinking fastball, they are trying to defeat it by going the other way, which is what you do with a sinker ball. Hamilton. Bullpen, Gene Nelson, the right-hander. So with 1 out, 3 consecutive singles. Marshall the other way, Shelby up the middle, and Socha the other way. And here's Hamilton, who is grounded to short and struck out. And remember, it's very hard to walk Hamilton. The runners go, and they fouled away. And that was part of the point, the fact that he's an aggressive hitter, so you might turn the runners loose.
And the other thing to add to that is, after that conference on the mound, Stewart's concentration was on the hitter, and Shelby And, of course, Sosha's trailing the play. Shelby's the one who got the big lead, and they were able to put something on and maybe steal a couple of bases and quite possibly steal a run.
No balls and 1 strike. 4-3 A's. Bottom of the 6th. And Dodger Stadium alive with sound. Almost hit him.
You notice the difference in Stewart when he came set that time, how he took a good look at Shelby. So even though the play was not executed because of the foul ball, it did put the thought in Stewart's mind, and he did have to change and really bear down on Shelby.
1 ball and 1 strike to Jeff Hamilton. Shelby at second, Sosha at first, 1 away. And there go the runners, fouled away again. So they put the play on the first pitch, and they figured to come back with it again. And Shelby returns to second, and Sosha to first.
Tell you, Lasorda has been gambling. He's got to do it with scotch tape and baling wire. You see a hit-and-run play, 1 man out, base runners at first and second. He's got to try everything to manufacture a run.
Marshall, who scored the run in the 6th inning, cooling off. 4-3 A's, bottom of the 6th. 2 on, 1 out. Hubbard has been trying to bird dog Shelby and cut down his lead at second. On the hands, crack bat to third. Lansford on the bag for 1, double play. As Hamilton is jammed and hits in the double play. 4-3 Oakland. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
The 1988 World Series is brought to you by your Toyota dealer. Whatever car or truck you choose, you'll love the quality. Who could ask for anything more?
We're going to the 7th inning here at Dodger Stadium. Oakland leading the Dodgers 4-3. On the message board on Diamond Vision, they took a page out of the past, and it was from the 1974 World Series. Yeah, that was the memorable play on the fly ball to right center by Reggie Jackson, where Joe Ferguson cut in front of Jimmy Wynn and threw to the plate to nail Sal Bando, and a good play by Steve Yeager. That was in 1974, and in talking about that Oakland Dodger series, the A's won it 4-1. One game they won 5-2. The other 4 games were all decided 3-2. They were tough ones, and we're starting off that way tonight. 4-3 Oakland in the 7th. Parker, McGuire, and Steinbach in that order. Parker has flied to center, walked, and then was out for running inside the baseline. 0-1.
You know, Parker, you watch his hands. He'll have him on the top of the strike zone because he wants to try to keep himself from chasing the high fastball. And he says, I keep my hands top of the strike zone, and I'll try to hit below my hands.
0-1. Kind of a showcase fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bolton has a big overhand curveball, big break, and he will change the delivery 3/4 overhand to make it do various things. 1-1.
Starting to say, man, if there's one guy on his Dodger staff that you wanted to say, you want to know what a curveball looks like? This would be my choice.
It looks like he's somebody out of the Baltimore organization. Remember, all those pitchers threw the same way.
Over the top.
There it is. There you go. Does that bring back? We'll see him tomorrow. Storm Davis.
Palmer.
Jim Palmer. Mike Boddicker with that great big overhand pitch.
And not only is it a big break, a big downer, he changes speeds, and so Parker was way out in front.
2-2. 3-2. That pitch that Parker just swung at and missed was traveling at 68 miles an hour. That's all.
Sosha's was 69. Going back.
4 runs, 6 hits for Oakland. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Top of the 7th. It's been Belcher, Leary, and Holton. And he missed the curveball inside. He had them all set up and missed the corner. So Parker draws a walk. And for Lasorda, he has to be saying to himself, that's great. I'm facing this monstrous ball club, and we've already given him 6 walks. We'll have a runner now for Parker. The Big Dave comes out for the day. And we can see Stan Javier running for him at first base. Now, Javier's dad, Julian Javier, played in 4 World Series, including the '72 series against Oakland.
He becomes a base stealing threat even with McGuire up there. You're not going to play hit and run, but Javier, nobody out here. And Javier is another one who's got the green light.
20 out of 21 during a regular year, so he can go. And here's McGuire. Walk twice, hit into a force play. Strike.
It was Javier, Julian Javier, got that base hit against Lundberg and that one hitter.
And just for the trivia, Stan and Julian, the 10th father-son combination to play in the World Series. 0-1. 4-3 Oakland, 7th inning. It's tough because with Holton, he can't throw that great big slow curveball because then Hosocia will never have a chance to get Javier. You have to catch differently?
You really can't. Not in a ball game like this, 4-3. You got to get that hitter. If you start thinking, I may not throw him out, and McGuire, if they give him nothing but fastballs, forget about it. A pitch out may send a message, or keep throwing over there like that. That you know he's over there. It depends. And pitch outs can be a little touchy too. It depends on the reaction of Holton. If nothing happens, now he's behind a big hitter like McGuire.
Interesting to me, and maybe we can do it in a minute, is to look at Brian Holden's feet and where his right foot is on the rubber. 0-1. Outside. In other words, my thought, if you watch him, he's standing on the third base side of the pitching rubber, okay? You've got a definite base stealing threat at first, and you just miss by an inch or two and you throw over. Why wouldn't you back off and get more on the first base side of that rubber so that when you turn, you're that much closer to first base?
You are, but you got to be comfortable when you deliver to the batter. You can't base your pitching on the base runner. If you do that, you're going to be in the second division. I mean, logically, I agree with what you're saying. It would work better that way, but he's got to get where he's got to get the hitter out.
1 ball and 1 strike to Mark McGuire. Fastball hit up along first. Holton has to make the play to get him, and on the play, Javier moves to second. Jose Canseco, whose dramatic grand slam home run in the second inning brings up a point. We remind our viewers we'll be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion of the ball game. Terry Steinbach flied to center, singled, and struck out. Remember, he got that inside fastball, and boy, did he turn on it. Singled sharply off Hamilton's glove. Big slow curve line to Hamilton, and that's all. It was hit so hard, Sachs didn't have a chance to get to the bag. And boy, Steinbach has blistered 2 at Hamilton.
Hamilton makes a good play on this. It's a slow curveball, and it is really hit hard. And Hamilton, right there, he's ready to make the play, but it was hit so hard, as you talked about, Vin. Now watch Javier. He knows he's got to get back. Sachs didn't have a chance.
So with 2 down, the fellow who has given the Dodgers trouble, Glenn Hubbard, at the plate. He's 2 for 3, 2 singles to left and grounded to short. Hubbard followed by Walt Weiss, the shortstop. Slow breaking ball. Big rainbow curve. 1 ball, no strike.
Hubbard is a much better fastball hitter. Of course, you can say that about most guys, but if you can get that curveball over, chances are you're going to get him. You get that high fastball, he's going to drill it. They're playing him to pull. There's a lot of room in right center field, which kind of surprises me. If anything, you're playing pretty much straight away.
Well, with Holton's strength breaking balls and Hubbard basically a fastball hitter, let's see if they go strength against weakness or if Holton varies it. Curveball popped in the air, back or first, down the line, coming over is Marshall. That's it. No runs, no hits, a man left at the end of 6 1/2, 4-3 Oakland. You know, throughout the World Series, we'll be presenting a new feature sponsored by Citicorp, Keys to Success. Bob Costas will focus on the keys to each night's game and their impact on the outcome of the World Series.
Thanks, Vin. The keys to success brought to you by Citicorp. The underdog Dodgers were pumped up by Mickey Hatcher's 2-run homer in the first off Dave Stewart. But Tim Belcher, so effective in the playoffs, was behind on the hitters all day. In 2 innings of work, he walks 4, he hits a man. With the bases loaded, he has to groove one for Canseco. The grand slam makes it 4-2. But despite Canseco's grand slam, Dave Stewart has but a 1-run lead to work with as we move to the last of the 7th, because the A's left 8 men on base through the first 4 innings. The keys to success, brought to you by Citicorp.
Stan Javier, who ran for Dave Parker, stays in the game in left field. 4-3 A's, bottom of the 7th. Alfredo Griffin takes a strike. Alfredo single to right and walked. 1 for 1. Made a couple of good plays in the field. And bunts. Over to get it, Carney Lansford. Got him.
Lansford was in. He's been in all night. And what Griffin tried to do was get it past Stewart, which he did, but couldn't get it past Lansford. See how tight he's playing over at third base. McGuire was back. I thought he might try to drag it, but he could not. Lansford was right there. Had a little trouble getting the ball out of his glove, but it was not that close.
The Dodgers go to the bench again. Jose Gonzalez will bat for Fulton. So the Dodgers use Danny Heap to bat for Belcher. He hit it ground ball to short. Tracy Woodson hit for Leary and hit into a force play. And now young Jose Gonzalez.
And I'll tell you, La Russa he doesn't wait too long before he gets Eckersley in there. I mean, he gets that 9th inning. He may just bring him in to close it down regardless of what Stewart is doing.
Jose Gonzalez was the Dodgers' leading candidate for the Frequent Flyer Award as we look at another former Dodger, Rick Honeycutt, tuning up in the bullpen.
I tell you, both ball clubs really have some great bullpens.
Lansford right at the bag at third. And the breaking ball lunged at. The Carney maybe 2-3 feet off the bag by the time that pitch was made. A's 4, Dodgers 3, bottom of the 7th, 1 out. Chase that fastball that sinks in the count 0-2.
I don't think either pitch was in the strike zone, but he's going to go up there to try to get that base hit. Now let's watch what he does. I would think it'd be the high fastball or bounce one up there.
1-2 to Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez signed his first professional contract. He was only 16 years old back in 1981. He's from the Dominican Republic. And down he goes.
There was that high fastball. I tell you, when you throw 2 pitches like you did for quick strikes, it's almost like putting handcuffs on the hitter. High fastball, just rides it high.
So with 2 out in the 7th inning, the batter is Steve Sachs.
So La Russa checking with Dave Duncan, who's in contact with that bullpen.
That's only the 4th strikeout for Dave Stewart tonight. He's had some big strikeouts. He struck out as many as 11 in a game this year. But he's had really only 1 tough inning, and that was the 6th inning when he gave up 3 consecutive singles. And then he cracked Hamilton's bat when he jammed him, and Jeff hit into the double play. 2-0 to Sachs. And the pacing Hatcher, he never sits down throughout a game. That's a strike. Sachs hit by a pitch, flied to right, flied to center. 2-1. Meanwhile, Dave Parker is finished for the night. Stan Javier picked up for him. On the hands, a shot off the glove, and Sachs fell down, leaving home, and he'll settle with a single. Ripped it off Carney Lansford's glove, and then he took a header.
He really broke out of the box, and he would not have gotten the 2-base hit, but Lansford guarding that line, he has to go to his left, can't come up with it, this short hop. Now, here's Sachs. Now watch him break out of there. He sees it get by, and he starts, and he'll go down right there.
So a 2-out single by Steve Sachs brings up Franklin Stubbs. 2 fly balls grounded out, 0 for 3. High fastball to refresh your memory, Stubbs, a low fastball hitter.
Sachs is one of those guys can go anytime he thinks he gets a jump in, and he'll want to go.
The question whether you want Sachs to try to go, or would you rather keep McGuire on the bag and keep the right side of the infield open?
I take my chances on letting him go.
1-0. There he goes. The pitch, a strike. The throw down. He's stolen it.
The throw was on the shortstop side of the bag. Steinbach had a lot on it, but that was the difference in that play. He gets a good ball to handle. Now watch where the throw goes. He's got to come back, and that's where he loses the play right there. If it's on the second base, on the first base side, he's got him.
1-1. And there's a high fly ball into right field. Canseco going back under it and makes the play for the out. Stubbs grabbed his helmet with both hands. Evidently, he got a pitch, and he let it get away. 4-3 Oakland. A reminder, following in the conclusion of tonight's game, stay tuned for your late local news on most of these NBC stations. Then Saturday Night Live, second show of their new season with host Matthew Broderick and musical guest, the Sugar Cubes, all the way from Iceland. Last week's show started off the season with a bang, so stay tuned for tonight's fun only on NBC. And of course, all of that with the exception of the West Coast and Mountain Time. Alejandro Pena becomes the fourth Dodger pitcher. Belcher, Leary, Holton, and Pena. Leary and Holden shut down the A's for 5 innings without a run, but the damage had already been done. A grand slam home run in the second inning by Jose Canseco. So now in the 8th inning, Oakland still leading 4-3 with Walt Weiss, followed by Dave Stewart, and then Carney Lansford. Weiss, a switch hitter, has struck out, flied to left, and grounded out. 0 for 3.
I tell you, I think if I was on a club with Canseco, I would roll down my sleeves rather than roll them up.
Ball 1. Stewart, who has not been an overpowering pitcher, in striking out 4, he has gotten the job done. 2 balls and no strikes. The Oakland A's, they won 104 games, ran away to win by 13, dominated the American League West. They're also the 8th different American League representative in the World Series in the last 8 years. Now the 2-0 pitch. In there. Ball popped up on the right side, and Sachs will handle it. 1 down. Big crowd, capacity crowd at Dodger Stadium, and Dave Stewart will slowly come up. Stewart pitched for the Dodgers in the 1981 World Series briefly. Tonight with the bat, he has walked, and it was a very big walk, and then struck out twice. But his walk extended the inning and allowed Canseco to hit a grand slam home run.
Pena's a pretty good story, coming back from that surgery.
With a very good fastball and a great change of pace, one of the better changes in the league. His nickname is perfect. His nickname is Slow. And everything he does, he walks to his own Walkman, but it sets up the pattern because everything is slow and deliberate, and then that fastball is on top of it.
I love Peranowski's line. He said he even stands slow, if that be possible.
Oh, it too.
Slow.
Sitting slow, if possible, is Tommy Lasorda. 0-2 the count. And a breaking ball got him looking, and that's not fair to throw an American League pitcher a curveball. And La Russa let out a holler almost as if he wanted Doug Harvey to examine the ball. There was too much action on it. So Stewart, what's the break on this thing? And Stewart hadn't seen a curveball in a while.
Tell you, when you don't get the bat like the American League pitchers, then you throw one like that, there's nothing you could do but kind of genuflect and really say, hey, pretty good pitch. I think La Russa was just giving Harvey a little bit of a needle.
With 2 down in the 8th inning, Carney Lansford, the batter, struck out and walked, hit into a force play, and flied to center. Handled the ball well, including a ball hit by Marshall in the 3rd inning. Ball 1.
Boy, I'd love a manager to say about me what La Russa says about Lansford. He says he's only got one problem. He plays too hard. Isn't that a great tribute?
What an athlete. 1-0. In reading the Oakland press guide, they tell you that Carney Lansford is a direct descendant of Sir Francis Drake. You talk about a blue blood, huh?
Sure. All right.
High rent district.
Way high rent.
Carney, aggressive hitter, rarely walks. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-1. Two out, top of the 8th. Oakland 4, Dodgers 3. If you're not keeping score, you wonder about the bottom half. Mickey Hatcher, Mike Marshall, and John Shelby. Fastball chopper, just foul down the line. Right there on the line, Darrell Cousins, the 3rd base umpire from the American League.
Hatcher let the fan try to make that play, and when they booted it, you saw what he did.
So close.
It's right there. You can't argue with that.
So Lansford back to try it again. Two balls, 2 strikes. Fastball hit to Sachs right. So Pena sets him down. The A's have not had a hit since Henderson's double in the 4th, but it's still 4-3 Oakland. NBC Sports continues its coverage of the 1988 football season tomorrow, beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Jim Kelly will be a special guest, and he'll also feature the Miami defense. Lots of football tomorrow, and then, of course, Game 2 tomorrow night. But right now, here's Mickey Hatcher. Bottom of the 8th inning, a strike. 0-1. Hatcher hitting in Kirk Gibson's spot, hit a 2-run home run, walked and flied to center. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Stewart has allowed 3 runs, 6 hits. Walked 2, struck out 4. Fouled away, 1-2. We mentioned Gibson. If you were in the ballpark with binoculars, your first thought would be late in the game, is Gibson in the Dodger dugout? And the answer would appear to be no. Got him on the inside corner. As you look, you see Fernando Valenzuela, and you're looking for Kirk Gibson. And there is no Gibson. The man who was the spearhead of the Dodger offense throughout the year, who saved them in the league championship series, will not see any action tonight for sure. He is not even in the dugout.
That was kind of news. Hatcher getting called out on strikes because if he's going to go down, he's going to go down swinging, but he was caught looking that time.
Mike Marshall a strike. Marshall struck out, lined out, and singled, and I would think he has 20 home runs, and he has the power to do it. In a 1-run game, in the 8th inning and 1 out, he's going to try and take Stewart deep if he can.
He's going to try it. He's got it on his mind, take a big free swing at least once. You can see him kind of crank. When you talk to Mike, he says, look, when I'm up there, I roll the dice. If the pitch is thrown and I think I should swing, I'm going to swing. That's why you see him chase a lot of bad balls.
1 ball and 1 strike. And he lifts one back of first. Glenn Hubbard is there. Puts it away. 2 down in the 8th inning. So Dave Stewart is not an overpowering 20-game winner, but Tony Caruso can write it in his book, as can Dave Duncan. He's getting the job done. And with 2 out in the 8th inning, John Shelby, the batter, grounded out, struck out, and singled. Wouldn't chase that fastball away. Ball 1. Boy, that pitch really runs him up a wall. So they give him another one on the corner.
Hit that one fastball a little bit more inside. He hit it right back up the middle for the base hit.
Most of his power from this side of the plate. And he was out in front of that. 1 and 2.
Now we'll see, Vin. Is he going to throw that hard split finger or just throw that high fastball out of the zone and see if he chases it? He's got a choice.
So Shelby's still there with 2 out in the 8th. 4-3 Oakland. Game 1. The Dodgers, in their Los Angeles history, have never won a first game at Dodger Stadium. They're 0-6. Chopper up along first, foul. Oakland, meanwhile, playing away, has won 5 out of 6. 2-2 to John Shelby.
Stewart in 7 innings made 100 pitches. This has not been an extra long inning, but he's made a lot of pitches.
And that's hit to right. Canseco hesitated, slides, and caught it. Oh, what a play.
It was a sinker, and he misjudged it.
So he didn't get a jump at all, and he still made the play.
Shelby hit a sinker. Canseco kind of misjudges it, but watch him. He slides, and right in that webbing, that big glove really comes in handy. No way he could have made a two-handed catch there. It's sinking all the way.
Boy, a big man in a big spotlight, turning in a big job.
I tell you, we said it before, he can beat you with the glove, the bat, the arm, the legs. He's a complete athlete.
Dave Henderson fouling it back. He'll be followed by Canseco and then Stan Javier.
I tell you, when you get a scouting report that says Henderson's a first ball hitter, he's done it all night long, and yet he gets a ball he can handle.
Henderson single, struck out, doubled, grounded out. 2 for 4. 1-1. You can see Socha gesturing to Pena that you had dropped your arm. Get your arm higher. Pena dropped the return toss. He had to go and get it. Boy, that's so important if you're a catcher. Especially, you know, the delivery, the point of release. It has to be the right spot or you're asking trouble in this kind of competition.
High fastball. Good one.
1-2.
Way he's gripping it now would be the four-seamer, which would be the high fastball. It just kind of seems to bend in the middle.
Ooh, boy, did that take off?
Yes, sir. That was a four-seamer, as they say.
As you can see, he's in no hurry.
No. And why should he?
That's right. Got him. So he blows away Henderson. 1 out in the top of the 9th inning.
We talked about the Canseco and the steroid story with Thomas Boswell at the Washington Post wrote. I asked Canseco yesterday, and here's what he had to say about it, Ben.
Basically, I know it's more or less just like a practical joke. A lot of comments Boswell made didn't make any sense. A lot of the comments were untrue and false, and I don't think he took in consideration how much it would hurt the player's family or the player himself.
And here is the player himself, Jose Canseco. hit by a pitch, hit a grand slam home run, reached on a fielder's choice and grounded out. Ball 1. The fielder's choice was that ball he hit to the hole. Griffin backhanded, and they were able to get Henderson coming down off second. 1 ball, no strikes.
Talk about Hubbard looking like he fell off a cough drop box. This guy looked like he walked right out of a soap opera. One of those scenes that you see. Look at him. Handsome, strong, can hit, can run.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2. 4 runs, 6 hits for Oakland. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. Belcher, Leary, Holton, and Pena. And for Oakland, Dave Stewart all the way. Socia, Hamilton, and Griffin due up in the 9th. 2-1. Ball 3. And again, you see Socia gesturing, get your arm up.
The contrast is so great, especially with Gibson out of the lineup. The Dodgers really have one guy who can turn around one swing. That's Marshall. And whereas Oakland, I mean, he almost got a roster full of those people.
3 balls, 1 strike.
If he'd have hit that one, it'd have gone over the scoreboard. It would have got one of those planes that were flying here. Did he have a cut? Look at the bat speed. Now, it's a blur going through there. That is bat speed. Look at that. Oh! That's as hard and as good a swing as you want to see. Now he's in that 2-strike thing.
Foul back. This should break a heat wave, so take another look at it.
Oh, this is the kind you're catching that sucks that mask right off your face. It's just like that. Oh, even when you don't hit it. Oh, one swing like that in my lifetime I'd have been happy.
3-2 to Jose Canseco. Got it. Big swing or no? He came up empty.
Not quite as hard that time, but he still had a pretty good cut. It's in that 2-strike defensive stance that they take, but he can still hit that ball a long way.
I wonder if he ever took a half swing. 2 out in the 9th, and here is Stan Javier. Javier, who came into the game to run for Dave Parker in the 7th inning and stayed in. Switch hitter, and he's hitting from this side. Try to jam him, and he is basically a high ball hitter. So Pena tried to come in and got too far inside. 2-0.
They expect him to hit the ball to the opposite field. They're not very deep. Hatcher is almost playing like a right-hand batter, and Shelby's over in left center.
We talked about his dad, Julian. He played for the Cardinals in the '64 World Series, in '67, '68, and in '72 with Cincinnati against Oakland. Bouncer wide at third. Griffin, a tough play. Juggles, throws too late. You can't juggle to get Javier. Once Hamilton failed to be able to reach it, boy, Javier was going to be aboard. It'll be a base hit.
I think one of the reasons that he bobbles the ball is because he knows Javier is running. He's got it right here, and he just can't get that grip quick enough, and he still makes the play, but Javier gets down that line in great shape.
Show you what kind of relief pitching the Dodgers have gotten. That's their first hit for Oakland since the double by Henderson in the 4th. So they've had 2 hits since the 3rd inning, but all the damage was done in the 2nd inning, and the king is up in the Oakland bullpen. His Eminence, Dennis Eckersley, with 45 saves during the year. The MVP against Boston in the League Championship Series. And here's McGuire.
You see, he doesn't have much of a lead there. And of course, you know, he's got the green light as always. You don't know what. But for me, I'd say stay there and let McGuire take his cuts.
You know, and looking back and following that theory, Steinbach has hit the ball pretty hard.
Yes, he has, but he's not going to. Chances are this guy might just grab a hold one and give you 2 runs. And looking at Eckersley, that's the pattern LaRusse has had in the 9th inning. Eckersley has not pitched that many innings, but he's the guy that comes in and closes it for you. So I'm sure Eckersley will come in replacing Stewart.
Lifted high and down the right field line, high enough for Marshall to get under it in foul ground. He had to come a long way. Nice play. No runs, 1 hit. And Dennis the Menace is on his way to the mound. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning here at Dodger Stadium in Game 1. The A's, riding the wings of a grand slam home run by Jose Canseco, now make 2 changes. Ron Hasse behind the plate, and on the mound, the MVP in the league championship series, Dennis Eckersley. 45 saves. That really jumps out at you. And during the course of the year, he saved 8 games for Dave Stewart. And Mike Scioscia will start it off. Ball 1.
Vinny's had 8 saves that were less than an inning. 21 saves were just 1 inning. 8 saves were an inning or inning and 2/3. And an 8 save, 2 innings. That's as much as he goes.
Popped up around the bag at second. It'll be Walt Weiss. 1 down. So Eckersley with 45 saves is not a hard worker. In fact, only 15 of those 45 saves did he work more than 1 inning. And he never worked more than 2. A reminder, coming up next, except on the West Coast, local news and Saturday Night Live. 1 out in the 9th. And young Jeff Hamilton coming up. It is Hamilton who had the closest shot tonight to get the Dodgers into the game. With 1 out in the 6th inning, the Dodgers had consecutive singles by Marshall, Shelby, and Scioscia for a run. And with runners at first and second and 1 out, Hamilton hit into a double play. He fouled it away. He broke his bat in doing it. And the Dodgers really have not been heard from since.
Eckersley sidearms you, and he'll make you give ground, and he really hits that outside corner. He will come inside, but he really likes that strike on the outside corner. And there's Gibson.
0-1. In there. Seeing him with a helmet on, you have a former Oakland A's out on deck, Mike Davis. Well, we'll see what all that means. I doubt if he'd be up there to hit for Davis. I think that it'll be up to Davis to extend the inning to allow Gibson 1 last shot. 0-2. Sidearm, mean, strike 3 call. That came from around the corner.
That's what he does. He sidearms you, makes you give, and lives on that outside corner. And then if you get too close, he'll push you back, but he doesn't like to throw that many inside strikes.
So Mike Davis will come up now, one former Oakland A, to hit for another, Alfredo Griffin. 2 out, 9th inning. Oakland 4, Dodgers 3, and here is Mike Davis. Davis, like Alfredo Griffin, had a very, very difficult time adjusting over in the National League. He hit less than 200. And with that swing of his, they expected him to manufacture some home runs, and he had only 2. Time, no pitch. When Davis played at Oakland, he hit 22 home runs, 19 home runs, 24 home runs, but only 2 in the National League.
Well, Eckersley really comes at you. He throws nothing but strikes. He challenges everybody.
Fouled away, off to the left and out of play, 0-1. By the way, Gibson is not on deck. Dave Anderson is. A footnote to that, you see 7 out of 10. Only the 87 Twins, the 84 Tigers, and the 80 Phillies have won Game 1 and the series. No balls, 1 strike. Wouldn't chase it, 1-1.
He's not going to give him a ball to pull. It'll be a mistake if it gets inside, because you can see where Hasse is setting up.
Hitters have a great tendency in the American League to chase a bad slider that he throws. But that's off the plate. Fastball. Ball 2. 2-1.
Sometimes, too, Ben, when he comes, as we look at Gibson again, when he comes from that way, he kind of drops that arm, and he's kind of pitching uphill, so it'll rise on you.
He's thrown that ball out there 3 consecutive times, and each time Davis refused to nibble. So the Dodgers are down to their last out. 3 balls and 1 strike to Mike Davis. Bottom of the 9th. A's 4, Dodgers 3.
If he gets on, we're going to hear some roar.
3-1. And he walked it. And look who's coming up. The demands until he was physically unable to start tonight with 2 bad legs, the bad left hamstring and the swollen right knee. And with 2 out, you talk about a roll of the dice. This is it. If he hits the ball on the ground, I would imagine he would be running 50% to first base. So the Dodgers trying to catch lightning right now. Fouled away. He was, complaining about the fact that with the left knee bothering him, he can't push off. Well, now he can't push off and he can't land.
He's going to use all arms. Look at his crowd on its feet. What a tribute.
4-3 A's. 2 out, 9th inning. Not a bad opening act. Mike Davis, by the way, has stolen 7 out of 10. If you're wondering about Lasorda throwing the dice again.
And he's staying on an outside corner. He's not going to give him a ball to pull. With Davis, he just missed, but here's 2 quick strikes, both fastballs that kind of tail away the outside part. Hasse is not even flirted with the inside part of that plate.
You saw Dave Duncan gesturing. He was gesturing to Carney Lansford at third. 0-2 to Gibson. The infield is back with 2 out and Davis at first. Now Gibson during the year, not necessarily in this spot, but he was a threat to bunt. No way tonight, no wheels.
They're plenty deep in the outfield and a lot of room. They're playing him straight away in center field. Look at it, right down the line. He's a threat now with 2 strikes.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Little Nubber foul. And it had to be an effort to run that far. Gibson was so banged up, he was not introduced. He did not come out onto the field before the game.
You can really see the limp. He's not driving that ball. It was by him. Let's see, he almost has to talk to his legs and say, hey, let's go, we got to get out of here.
It's one thing to favor one leg, but you can't favor 2.
No way, and that's what he's trying to do. He really is.
0-2 to Gibson. Ball 1. And a throw down to first. Davis just did get back. Good play by Ron Hasse. Hasse using Gibson as a screen. He took a shot at the runner, and Mike Davis didn't see it for that split second, and that made it close.
A lot of times what you do, you'll give a sign to the first baseman, say, now be there. They call it now be there play. If I get the ball, I'm going to throw it. 14 fastballs in a row. That's all he's been throwing.
There goes Davis, and it's fouled away. So Mike Davis, who had stolen 7 out of 10 and carrying the tying run, was on the move.
They wanted to give Gibson a good shot at it with 2 strikes, but with the 2 strikes, Davis a threat, as we said, because the blue pin will score that big run.
Gibson shaking his left leg, making it quiver like a horse trying to get rid of a troublesome fly. 2-2. Mike Scioscia can only sit now and sweat it out. He led off the inning and popped up. Tony La Russa is 1 out away from win number 1.
Here's the big pitch. He's got to make it happen on this one.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out.
Those extra steps that Davis will get if the count goes to 3-2 are very big. So Hasse and Eckersley want that pitch of decision right here.
There he goes, way outside. He's stolen it.
Hasse started to throw and kind of bumped Gibson, but it was way too late. Davis was way down there, almost as if he could have walked in. Not a bad pitch to handle for Hasse outside. Now watch when he starts to throw. Look at Gibson. And Harvey says, no, he had the base stolen.
So Mike Davis, the tying run, is at second base with 2 out. Now the Dodgers don't need the muscle of Gibson as much as a base hit. And on deck is the leadoff man, Steve Sachs. 3-2. Sachs waiting on deck, but the game right now is at the plate. High fly ball into right field. She is gone. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. Question was, could he make it around the base paths unassisted?
I'll tell you, there are those who say that it's what happens after the base on balls, but it's the base on balls that makes it so bad. A home run would have tied it, but the walk gives him the win. And Eckersley, who doesn't walk that many, really gets burned here. Watch Lasorda.
said it once before, a few days ago, that Kirk Gibson was not the most valuable player, that the most valuable player for the Dodgers was Tinkerbell. But tonight, I think Tinkerbell backed off for Kirk Gibson. And look at Eckersley, shocked to his toes. They are going wild at Dodger Stadium. No one wants to leave. Dennis Eckersley allowed 5 home runs all year. We'll be back.
I guarantee you this, the parking lot at Chavez Ravine is empty. Nobody has left their seats, and now the man of the hour is back out on the field. Kirk Gibson, have you ever had a feeling like this?
Well, it's hard to match, I'll say that, and you know, it's, I guess, a storybook. I was very disappointed today because I knew I couldn't play. I knew I'd be a detriment, and I got an injection today, and I was very sore, but I saw the opportunity. I knew if we could get a guy on base, the pitcher was coming up, and I figured if I got out there and the fans started cheering, that I could suck it up for 1AB, and maybe something good would happen, and it happened.
How much pain were you in at the plate?
Well, it was tough. You know, pushing off my front foot, and my other hamstring was hurting me. I got 2 bad legs, but, you know, when I got 2 strikes on, I just decided to buckle it down, and Mike got the second. I knew I really didn't have to hit a home run. I kind of was going to shorten up and try and drive the ball the other way, and I got a breaking ball that he got out. It was low, the ball I like to hit, and I was just fortunate. The good Lord gave me this wonderful moment.
Did you know it was gone the instant you hit it?
A pretty good idea. And, you know, we've had some tough times, but, you know, what a team. We've been saying it all year, and if it wasn't for my teammates, I wouldn't even have got the opportunity to remember this moment.
We were standing in the runway, and we could hear you taking batting practice off the tee back at the end of the tunnel. We didn't even think you'd be available for pinch hitting duty, and I know Lasorda walked back to talk to you. How did that conversation go?
Well, I've been in the training room all day, or all night, getting treatment, and in fact, I heard Vin Scully say they were panning the dugout looking for me, saying it didn't look like I was going to be able to play, and I said, that's enough. I went and put an ice bag on there and numbed my knee up best I could, hit some off the tee in there, and I had a bat boy come in and ask Tommy to come in. I wanted to talk to him. I said, go ahead and pinch hit for Alfredo with Mike. If we get a guy on, I'll go in there and give you my best. I think I can do it and give you a good shot, and that's what it's all about.
Thoughts and images that went through your mind as you rounded the bases?
Well, I just kept telling myself, these are the type of circumstances you enjoy most, and you perform even better under these conditions, and thank the good Lord, it all happened for us.
Kirk Gibson. Let's go back upstairs to Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola.
Well, needless to say, as the crowd continues to go wild, tonight's NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game is who else? Kirk Gibson. Miller Lite happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Kirk Gibson to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. It wasn't exactly deja vu, but we do remember the other day in New York, 12th inning, a game tied with the New York Mets. Roger McDowell, a sinker ball specialist, and Gibson hits a home run in the 12th inning to give the Dodgers a 5-4 victory. It was a victory revisited tonight.
In the Oakland clubhouse, they have to be talking about that base on balls and that pitch selection. The only ball he could really hit out of here was the breaking ball.
What an opening act, huh? I think we've got a leading man, and many of them, between now and the end of this great 1988 World Series. Well, as we look one more time at Kirk Gibson, the 1988 World Series brought to you by Miller Lite. The great taste is only one light beer, Miller Lite, by Volkswagen. Experience German engineering the Volkswagen way. By Kohler, maker of quality plumbing products. The bold look of Kohler. What a beautiful way to live. Tomorrow, start your day with NFL Live beginning at 12:30, then the NFL, and at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Game 2 of the 88 World Series. For Joe Garagiola, this is Vin Scully saying good night from Dodger Stadium, where the Dodgers beat the A's 5-4.